afternoon and welcome to North Hobart Oval, to round 17 of VFL action. Today we're coming to you from the beautiful surrounds of North Hobart, where Tassie Devils, 6 weeks ago, languishing on the bottom of the ladder, clinging on to 7th spot, and they're playing the 8th placed Box Hill. And with me this afternoon for what will be a fantastic match, Andrew Dale, welcome.
Thanks, Chris. It's a pleasure to be here today.
And it's a pleasure to be with you, Benno, as always.
Always a pleasure. Looking forward to what should be a great game. Who would have thought? Who would have thought it's come to this?
7 weeks ago, Andrew, I mean...
Look, I'd written their season off, Chris. I thought they were gone. I think they were 1-10.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
yeah, look, just a phenomenal effort from Matthew Armstrong to get this team up playing the sort of footy he's got them playing.
And Andrew, they've done nothing different. They're the same players.
I think Andrew's right to point to Matthew Armstrong, his role and his coaching staff and the character of the players to just keep that self-belief long enough. I was interested to read a couple of articles this week where they were talking positively about their forward line.
Yes.
Remember 6 weeks ago or 7 weeks ago they said, oh, this is our problem. You know, it's gone from a deficit to an advantage in just 6 weeks. And there's no change in personnel. It's about attitude and what they think about it and self-belief, and amazing what just 1 or 2 wins can do.
Well, they're playing Box Hill, and last time Tassie played Box Hill belted them.
Belted them, and they've got a history of belting them. I think they played, 5 or 6 times over the years, and Tassie have only beaten the Box Hill side just once in that. But if they're ever set up to win one today, I think this is a real setup for Tassie. And
one of the big things that Tassie mentioned the forward line before, Benny Beams has been kicking the goals along with Justin Platt and some others as well.
Yes, yeah, and he's just reconstructed, hasn't he? Kenny Hall went forward last week, for example, in against the wind against Sandringham in the second quarter, kicked 4 goals.
Yeah, and he's such a beautiful kick.
And that's it. I think Matthew Armstrong's coached them very well. He's just coached to their strengths. So he knows Beams can kick goals, is a really good kick, so he pushes him forward more often, uses Kenny Hall's great strength, his kicking, push him forward. Smart coaching.
Yeah. And Tassie, they're in 7th spot. The ladder's looking pretty interesting, though.
Yeah, it is looking, and just... getting back to what we said, they started, I think, this second round 1-10, Chris, and to string 5 on the trot, going for 6 on the trot today at North Hobart, I think they're a great chance today, Chris.
Indeed, you look, Northern Bullants are ahead, but there's a lot of teams, just around 32, 26, 24.
Well, yeah, I think we counted before, there's 6 sides there that have either 6 wins or 5 wins, and all in the middle. But it just points to the closeness of the competition. Williamstown, you see, we go right down to the Scorpions, who have 5 wins, and they still are half a chance. So all but the last 2 are still a chance to make the top 8. So it's a very tight competition. But Tassie pretty well set up. Especially the point we've got to make around Box Hill is that if they don't win today, they've only got 2 games to go. Yeah. You know, there's 3 games left in the season, but they've got their bye ahead of them. It's the wrong time to be getting a bye. They'd want to be playing.
We mentioned the goal kicks before. Justin Platt's been in good form for Tassie, as has Benny Beams. And the goal kicking list, Benny Beams is 4th on the ladder.
Yeah, and he's had a great second half of the year, the captain. You can see down there we've got Brooks, former Tasmanian player there too, Andy Bennett, kicking 38 goals for the Springvale Scorpions, but Ben Beams with 35, and I'm sure Callan will be down there, probably just in the middle 20s as well, so that gives the Devils some good midfield strength through the goals.
Clinton Alloway's been a proven goal kicker, a good goal kicker, and that's a less return for a year than they would have hoped for. They recruited him a year ago. Andy Collins has chased him up, and he's a real fan of Clinton Alloway.
He's a big lad.
Big strong lad, plays full forward, just plays as a tall forward. Now, you don't call him full forwards anymore, just plays big forward. But I think 27 goals for the year is probably not the return they would have been hoping for. But still, he'll be a challenge for the Tassie side. Jovanovic will probably get him.
You mentioned before, Andrew, that Tassie Devils haven't made many changes to their list or their squad or whatever.
No.
And this week's team is pretty similar as well.
Very similar. They've lost Lee Walker. I thought that was very unfortunate for last week. Lee Walker, a very, very good player, and just tops him off because he's just a little bit of class. But still, what they've got now, they've got a very mature. Andy Collins made a good point in the paper I was reading this morning about their midfield, like guys like Callan and the Gapin brothers, Atkin, who else we put in there, Setchels now, are very mature, well-established players at this level now. And they don't fear anyone. They go on the field now and they believe they can hold their own against anyone. A very, very good side. Matthew Jovanovic has been terrific. He's just been terrific at Tassie over the 2 years he's been here. Outstanding form, very good again last week.
Well, it's either he or Callan, I think, for the best and fairest medal.
I think so. Callan's been out there. 37 possessions.
I know you're a fan of his, Ben.
Fan of his.
There wouldn't be too many who watch footy in Tassie who are not now. It's been fantastic.
And Box Hill, a very tall side, and quite a young side as well.
Yeah, they are. As we can see up on screen now, we see Doug Scott, I think that's correct, the son of Don Scott. We've got Thurgood, who was one of the early draft picks, Andy Bennett, in 2004.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing him play. Very lightly built. He's about 195. He's only about 71 or 72 kilos. And brave as. I saw him actually play against the West Coast Eagles when they played over here a few weeks ago.
And we shouldn't miss him with the dreadlocks as well.
Oh, yeah, he's a bit of a cult figure all around. The other one I'm interested in there is Green. got his first name for a moment.
Stephen,
thank you.
Yes.
Son of
Russell?
Russell, thank you. Struggling with it. Son of Russell. Got a little nervous being away from the telly for a while. Son of Russell, who played 300 games for Hawthorn and secured a great player. I think he's been a bit hard done by, Green. He's a good player, Stephen Green. He's been up and down, and it's an interesting year for him. I think he's had a great year here, but he just can't quite hang on to his spot in the seniors. And where does he go from here is a good question.
Well, where do we go from here? It's a tip, Benno. Who's your tip?
Oh, I think Tassie. I actually feel very confident about it. Surprise. I just think they're well set up. Good form, winning form's good form. However, I'm wary of Box Hill up against it. Really, they have to win.
And Andrew?
Yeah, look, I'm the same. I'm with the Devils all the way, Chris.
And I'll make it 3-0. Tassie Devils in their huddle. The conditions look pretty good. Alistair Nicholson, you're down on the boundary. Can you give us a bird's eye view down there, Alistair?
Yeah, conditions are pretty good down here, boys, for football today. There's a bit of a swirly breeze. It's hard to say which end of the ground it's favouring. It's going to be an excellent game and such a crucial game for both sides here today. I had a word to Andy Collins yesterday, the Box Hill coach, and he told me that he thought the match would be won through the midfield and just hoped his tools would prove decisive on the day. I also asked him, Ian Callanan, the danger man, how he thought he could nullify him, and he said food poisoning. So Callanan's out there today, so he's obviously not had anything too bad to eat last night, and it'd be good to see what he's got in his bag of tricks today. But I'm going for the Devils. I think they'll win comfortably. And the conditions are perfect for football. North Hobart looking good. Some talk it could be the last match at North Hobart Oval that the VFL side plays. And if that's the case, it's certainly looking a picture. So let's make it 4, boys, and we'll go for the Devils.
Thank you very much, Alison. Just before you go, it looks like a big crowd.
Oh, huge crowd, boys. It's amazing. It would already be over about 4,500, you'd have to say. And as far as the temperature goes, it's a perfect day, so why wouldn't you be here? Expecting 14, and we've already got that. And a good crowd in, and hopefully the Devils will give them something to cheer about.
I'm sure they will. We might come back to the possibly last game at North Hobart throughout the broadcast, but Alistair said it was sunshine, said the conditions were perfect, and they look absolutely beautiful from up here.
Tassie's kicking to left of screen. Started with Grimer at full forward, up close to goal, alongside Justin Plapp. Already looks like they're going to clean out their forward line by a long, long way in. Callan started on half-forward flank, but he's pushed up well outside the 50-metre line already.
And Millwood, just a tall Box Hill Hawks player there, just
ex-Tassie boy.
Indeed.
Owen Millwood, ex-Tassie boy, played with the Mariners, played more as an under-16, as a 16, 17-year-old. Very interesting. I think Box Hill Hawks were very keen to get hold of him, give him a bit of a chance with an idea. Reviewed a bit of... No, there we go. This will be a great match-up. Plapp versus Thurgood. Beautiful. Like to see it.
About to set sail at North Hobart. Umpire Stewart to set us alight. Tassie to left of screen. Ronaldson will take on Millwood. Millwood got his hands on the umpire spot of the free.
Downfield.
It will be against Plapp or against Thurgood, and it's going to be one or the other, and it's going to go to... Well, the umpire's put it different ways.
Against Plapp.
Indeed, and Millwood's got it. Plapp and Thurgood still tussling behind players. Millwood gets it to half forward. Big pack of players. Setchell, his first game back, he had the flu, I think, for the last week or so. He's been a bit unwell. Hasn't had...
Just missed last week. They'd got him. He had a rough trot all year.
Yeah.
He's been in and out, and then got back to last for 2 weeks ago, and then had to miss again last week with the flu. They'll be very happy to back, especially on North Hobart. Smaller confines. He's in an understyle, well suited here.
Millwood got it down. Miller, an exciting prospect for both Box Hill and the senior Hawks. Shackleton, he's also stepped up a bit the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's played him across halfback. Reconstructed a role for him. And again, another bit of smart coaching. Made him a little bit more accountable, make the opponent go to the ball, instead of putting the heat on him to win the ball in the middle or up at full forward.
And speaking of heat, Tassie, sort of midwinter, beautiful conditions. Miller went to ground, Street went without him. Miller got the free, shuffled it all out to McGlynn, but the umpires brought it back, and it'll come back to Miller.
He actually played on him there.
Yeah.
He did actually handball.
But the umpire, Gittis, said, no, we'll set it up again.
Did all right in the against Carlton for the Hawthorn senior side last week. So could perhaps consider himself a little bit unlucky, but of course Shane Crawford's come back into that side, so not a bad guy to come second to.
Miller, kick was good. Oh, the pass just did everything right. Jovanovic, Brendan Savage it was in the end apparently. He got it to Shackleton. The handball came from Robinson. Platt on a lead, got good support from Grimer. Platt goes to ground, bounces up beautifully. Handball's clever, might end up with Grimer inside 50. First shot on goal, just pushed it to the middle. Beautiful kick.
Wow.
Absolutely beautiful. Todd Grimer.
Terrific kick. You're right. You could tell the way you called it that it was going to miss, but he's read the wind. There is a wind here blowing away across the... He was, in effect, kicking into a bit of a cross breeze. Good little handball out from Clinton Brown, who's been in good form up for Burnie in the last couple of weeks. Won his re-inclusion in the side, and a great kick, great start for the Tassie side. It's a cliche, but a great start, the start they wanted.
One straight goal, 6. The Devils and the Hawks yet to score as we go. Early days, first quarter. Batchelor. Inside forward 50 for the Hawks. Strong on the lead was Brennan. He's been paid the mark about 75 metres out from goal. Starts to square up and looking forward for Alloway. With him was Street for the Devils. Kenny Hall was about to lay a tackle on Neville. Neville just went outside again and found Payton. Payton just went wide.
See how strong that wind is. That was heading dead centre of goal, and the wind picked it up once it got a little bit of height and blew it to the left of goals. Big wind. Alistair might be able to comment on that later on. Looks to me like it's just straight across the ground. I don't think it's necessarily favouring one end or the other. Kenny Hall kicked 4 goals last week. This time he's kicking in from fullback.
And he went to himself there, Andy Bennett, and he's kicked it out to centre wing. A beautiful kick. Front and square was Matthew Gapin. Dived onto the ball. Ball. Outside again. Batchelor. Poor kick. Kenny Hall. A slips catch there on half-back for the Devils.
He wants to switch play. Shackleton. The kick wasn't quite exactly how he wanted it.
Well, again, I think that's the win, because he's really almost kicking into the teeth of it. And he's a terrific kick. And we know that. That's his real strength in his game. So I think this win's going to play a little bit of havoc until at least the players get accustomed to it.
Fairly swirly, boys. If you look at the Gorringe grandstand, you can see that the flag's sort of blowing back towards Argyle Street, and then if you look at the windsock on the ground, you can see it's blowing straight across. So it's going to vary a fair bit today, I'd reckon.
Thanks, Alistair. Gapin kicked it long, only as far as Doug Scott. Was just sitting back in better position. Miller is covering a lot of ground. Looks like Nathan Street's got the job on Miller.
Interesting matchup, Doug Scott versus Sam Lonigan. Huge height difference in there. I think it's swapped around now, but in that last one-on-one contest, Doug Scott was always going to win that because of the big height advantage.
Ronaldson against Millwood. Millwood might have been taken illegally. Comes to Miller at ground level, inside 50. Kenny Hall's there, so too was Shackleton. Wanting to deliver it was Timmy Harvey. Payton. No relation to Ian Payton?
No relation. No, he's Ian's son. He's would only be about 12 or 13 as yet.
Again, it's Ronaldson against Millwood. Street in front of Miller. Setchell at ground level. Might have been taken a little high. The umpire might say you've held it in there, Ben. No, he hasn't. His call for the bounce is still going on. There's a bit of feeling between both these teams early on. Setchell's got the ball. He'll have to give it back up.
Sorry, there's a bit hanging on the result, so you're going to expect this. If Tassie win this game, they go a game plus percentage ahead. If Box Hill lose it, then they can just about kiss goodbye to the final. So they're going to be at it. There'll be no lack of motivation.
Certainly no love lost between the two players there. Atkin on screen now. Setchell conceded to Robinson with good hands. To Grimer playing in front. Jansen, and we can see then Harry Miller and Ben Setchell just with shows of strength for their respective clubs. 5 minutes 50 into the first quarter at North Hobart. The Devils 1 straight 6 to Box Hill 1 point. As we start play again. Sorry, Andy.
It's Alistair, an interesting tactical move by Matthew Armstrong. He's got Ben Beams in the goal square, and Andy Collins obviously keen to have Stephen Green playing on him, who's a prolific ball winner, and he sucked him in and got him playing out of the goal square in the full back position.
Yeah, I think Armstrong would be pretty happy with that. They would worry about Green's ball-getting ability, and to keep him back at effectively a full-back position is a little bit of a win early on, but it also obviously shows the respect he's got for Beams.
Street, just long hands to Brett Robinson. Plapp in front. Good work by Thurgood to get a fist on it. Robinson front and square. Boy, this kid's improved.
He was under a bit of a cloud with injury, had a bit of groin come hamstring sort of problems during the week, and it was only became obvious he was going to play yesterday. He was under doubt right up until then. Shane Wage had missed out. We should have mentioned that at pre-match with a hamstring, but Robinson was the other one that was in doubt, but he's come up.
So Millwood and Ronaldson, Atkin ducked ahead and got a quick kick forward. Beams, who's led Green, comes side, now left. Screws, I like these sort of ones for Ben Beams, goes long into the goal square. And Daniel Breese just got a defensive fist for 1 point. So good signs for both teams. Andy Bennett.
I was going to say, there's a bit of good football off the ball then. Sam Lonigan got a block on Stephen Green to set Benny Beams away, and really he could have made them pay a little bit more, but Green will have to be right on his mettle to keep Beams under wraps this close to goal.
He's on screen. Beams stands the mark. The kick came from Breeze. From the kick in, Green just got to the outside 50, held up a little. Platt with a punch from behind. Setchell front and centre. Gapin, high ball, 1-on-1. The back was Scott. In front of him sat nicely for Ronaldson, who has got it to Benny Beams. He kept it in nicely. No, he didn't. Just a finger tipper in it.
You know, and the Hawks have pushed a heap of players back inside the defensive 50. Then you saw when it came out, there were 3 Tassie Devils players waiting for the ball. It was a good result for the Box Hill Hawks, because if Benny Beams got his hand on it, he had 3 players to go to, and they could just about have kicked a goal from outside 50 then.
It's on centre wing. Again, Ronaldson and Millwood all wrapped up. It was Batchelor. Ronaldson just shoveled it out. Miller concedes some ground. Now with some space. Run down, beautiful smother. The turnover might be costly in the end. Box Hill Hawks can mop up. Nicely done through Luke Brennan. And he found McGlynn on centre wing. Can go short, and he does. The Hawks running through the midfield to centre, through the centre. Centre half forward. Hall mopping up at the back. Wants to switch play. He's in trouble. Clever enough to get it to Setchell. Had to sit and wait. He's in trouble as well. Just the numbers favour the Hawks in the end. Kirkby. And sitting back was Jovanovic. He read it nicely, but just couldn't quite trap it.
Terrific pressure from the Box Hill forward line. Just hung in there. Just kept it in.
We see Clinton Alloway and Travis Ronaldson to compete in the ruck contest in the deep forward 50 for the Box Hill Hawks as Ronaldson comes behind. Over the top was Jovanovic, which was good spoil, the 3rd man up in the contest. Loose ball at ground level, Atkin. The Hawks just working hard. I think it was ball under there. Alistair Neville
Matthew
just
Ball.
On the outside as well.
Matthew Ball, brother of Luke Ball.
Yeah.
St Kilda star, dead set star. Ex-Carlton player Matthew Ball as well. Traded for Ben Johnson and Daniel Harford a couple of years ago.
And played his first game when the Saints played the Hawks.
Oh, okay.
Both brothers were playing.
Millwood again, just getting a reach over Travis Ronaldson, who's going to have to work hard in this contest. Grimer got it out. Atkins just working fiercely with Matthew Ball again. He looks like a bit of a hard nut like his brother Matthew Ball as well.
We've just had the interchange for Tassie run passes. I'm just wondering, having seen that, how long Matthew Armstrong will go with Lonigan versus Doug Scott, effectively out the goal square because of the height difference. The obvious move is to push Markham Johnson to full forward, at least give a tall marking contest there. It'll have to be he'll have to hold his nerve for a long time, Matthew, to resist that.
So we see Matthew Gaping taking down Ben McGlynn in a good tackle, and umpire Stewart will just start the game again. So nice and tight and physical, and both teams working very, very hard to just assert their authority as we start again. 3 or 4 up in the contest. Could have been in the back, and it was to Cam Howard for the Box Hill Hawks. So now they need to set up from half-back. Miller providing the option around the back. He won't go that way. A long drop punt, a 45-metre low trajectory drop punt where Harvey should have taken the catch. Atkin wraps him up. You need to knock it out there, son. You'll be ping holding the ball. Matthew Ball got it. Loose ball. Kicks it in forward. Jovanovic was right onto Alloway there. Ben Satchell worked hard back into defence. Payton and Robinson, who looks like he's got the job. Robinson out wide to Shackleton, the former Magpie. Comes across half-back as we see Todd Grimer. Just a quick off half-back again. It was Matthew Gapin, and worked really, really hard. And Ian Callanan looks like running onto the ball.
And Robinson was in there as well. Callanan, they're in trouble. The Hawks have got numbers and they've got pressure, and it might fall now. It does so indeed. Opportunity now for Height. He pumps it inside 50. The numbers favour Tassie and Ronaldson. Good catch, good grab. Switches it nicely to Robinson, who worked awfully hard a few seconds ago. Got it to Gapin. First touch, 1-on-1. Plapp against Thurgood. Benny Atkin at ground level, just wants to knock it forward. Ooh. Taken by Ball. He's got to get rid of it now. He didn't. Oh.
Line ball over the top in there as well. Good decision in the end.
Just under 12 minutes. Tassie started with a quick early goal, probably in the first minute and a half. 2-minute mark, it's been 10 minutes without a goal. Conditions are good, the pressure's on. Just the attacking side of centre wing for Tassie. Millwood got it down to McGlynn. With him is Atkin. McGlynn with pace and a bit of skill, kept it in nicely. A long half forward for Alloway. Jovanovic was there. Good play, Jovanovic.
Very good, very efficient. Very, very efficient, rarely beaten. Not huge, not big size, who can play against mid-sized, tall players, equal to Danny Noonan. Tassie runner, dual William Leach medalist, premiership player, state player, Carlton player, Brisbane Lions player, pretty good player, really. Not a bad CV.
And Dodgers Ferry player
Dodgers
last year.
Ferry, yeah, being best and fairest twice for Dodgers Ferry. He's a legend down the Sharks way.
So we see Ben McGlynn with Nathan Street and Ben Setchell, who I think loves to play footy at North Hobart where it's nice and tight and in close. Millwood and Ronaldson at ground level for the Hawks. It was height. Again, pushed in the back, probably Robinson trying to get in the back of Miller it was. And Luke Brennan in there as well.
It's just all contest at the moment.
Trevor Batchelor just working hard. Sorry, Andy?
It's just all contest. Every game is a mixture of skill and run and contest. And, there's some sort of balance in there you want to achieve to have a good game. But at the moment, it's just all contest while they sort it out.
As we see, the Devils just clear and Miller picks up a loose ball. Just not a very good left foot kick. Grimer just working hard in defence to Brett Gapin, who just went outside to looking for his vice-captain in Ben Atkin. Howard for the Hawks, just pumped it inside 50, looking for Alloway. Jovanovic was great and led into the contest.
Just terrific, and he wanted to switch. And the umpire has spotted.
Tassie's made the move. Markham Johnson's gone into ruck. Travis Ronaldson's been pushed forward. Doug Scott now has the job on a player of about his same size. In fact, Travis Ronaldson probably has an edge of a few centimetres.
And the umpire spotted another 50. And here we go. Unless he's reversed it. He's reversed it.
No, it's going down further downfield.
Is it? His arm's going everywhere.
I think that's 250s.
250s. And
now there's confusion reigns. We need to talk about this.
We will get there in the end.
Jovanovic still has the ball. The umpire's signalling a mark about 35, 40 metres out. I think it's just 250s.
It is. And it's a big play.
Big play. Matthew Jovanovic, we haven't seen him have too many shots for goals. What do you think, Andrew?
Look, I think he's normally a beautiful kick when he's kicking out, Andy. Yeah. So I'm going to back him.
It's a bit different when you've got those big goals in front of you. The mental part of it.
And yourself, Andy?
Oh, he'll kick it. I don't know why we're even asking the question.
Will he kick it through?
But you will note that I'm not looking at the moment.
Scott stands the mark. Jovanovic, courtesy of 2 50-metre penalties, has pushed it to the right.
I told you.
It just goes without saying. They always let you down, Chris Smythe, don't they, when you support them and back them?
That's a big win. The game also has been played all on the Ryde Street side. And that's for a good reason. That's where the ball's going to carry at the moment.
Breeze kicks it out. Good kick. Oh, good grab, Kenny Hall.
Very brave decision to kick it there.
Kirsten Height was the attacking side. Kristen Height was the... And 50 metres. 50 metres. Kristen Height put his knee into Kenny Hall's back, according to umpire Damien Sully. And that's a good grab. Good grab from Hall.
It's set up. Was it just a...
just kept
Andy
his knee on there a
Collins
bit.
won't be happy with it. Oh, no, Andy Collins would coach positively, but that wasn't a good decision. The ball had to sit up in the wind. That's the attacking side. When you have the ball deep in defence, I wouldn't kick it there. But then again, I've got Hyde side on my side.
Tassie's second, Hall's first. And in what's been a fairly low-scoring game to date, that's a nice little break for the Devils. 2-2-14 plays, 1 behind.
Last 2 shots at goal, courtesy of 350 metres. So Andy Collins can't be happy with that. I'd like. We haven't seen the replay of the 50 metres yet, but I think he did come over the top, or I didn't watch it closely enough.
He had his knee in his back just for a little long.
Someone, Andy, who based his whole game around discipline, Andy Collins,
yes.
he'd be livid at that, won't he?
Yes, and made himself a good player just because of that. Very tight, very brave player.
All right, so Rinaldi comes on ball against Johnson. Loose ball, Batchelor. Daniel Breesy just squaring up from halfback and kicking long. Luke Shackleton, who's found some form across halfback in this second part of the year for the Devils, and no one's going anywhere, and the loose ball pops out, and Ben McGlynn. And there's another Ben Atkin. Out the back to Luke Shackleton.
Not really sure where you're going there, Luke, but anyway, comes back inside, didn't use the ball well, and in the end...
I understand he's confused. No one actually ran hard. No one had. Box Hill was smart. They dropped 2 players back. It was not a bad decision in the end. He had to hang on to it. The final execution wasn't great, but he didn't have a lot of options.
It just wasn't really positive. I think he needed to run with it too, Andy. So
take someone on.
Take someone on. So Johnson against Rinaldi, Harry Miller, who's been dangerous early. Nice and strong with Matthew Gapin, who's it's hard as nails in my opinion, Matthew Gapin. Yeah. And another one of your favourites too, Andy. His work rate's fantastic.
Just very brave, very honest.
So 14 plays 1. Coming up to 18 minutes in the first quarter. And Alistair, anything down there on boundary we can pick up at the moment? Any changes? Anything happening?
Rinaldi's come on for his first run, boys. I'm not too sure if he used to play soccer for Brazil, but he's gone down and he's taken Travis Ronaldson in the goal square.
And some courage shown. Gapin might swoop. Got a clever handball to Hazelwood. Just had to pop it up in the air. Benny Beams can run. It'll bounce, will be important against Green. Beams kept it in front of him. Good tackle, Green. Beams is up again. Got to get rid of it now. Inside 50, Callanan had to sit back. Opportunity clearing for Height to centre wing for the Box Hill Hawks. Payton's in trouble. May have been taken a little high. Umpire said play on. McGlynn got up and got with it. Shackleton's a big, strong lad, but went in his back. Play on. Advantage played. Howard on 50 to Miller. Miller's a good kick. Not that time. Just sits up Jovanovic. No. Happy to see it through. And they are in trouble then, the Devils, on the turnover. But Miller didn't make them pay.
He's getting a lot of the ball, Miller. Miller and Ball shapes the 2 big ball winners for Box Hill. Midfield players. Haven't finished it. Hasn't kicked the ball as well as he would like a couple of times now, Harry Knott.
So Nathan Street, doing the kicking out for the Devils, and just went bang and just picked out Clinton Alloway there. So not sure that Matthew Armstrong would be too happy with that one, as Alloway, the captain of the Hawks, went down savage. Probably a good call from Luke Shackleton there, I think, Andy, and he called him out. So around the back goes the little dynamo Callanan. Left side. Now he comes back inside. You're in trouble. But tripped the light. Fantastic. Went over the top with a great kick to Brennan Savage. So there's some of the exquisite skills from Ian Callanan on display.
It's good decision, mate. Confidence.
Savage kicked the low drop punt, which was good. Grimer and Hazelwood on his right side for a left footer. Strong contest there by the Hawks and the Devils. And we see Ben McGlynn going nowhere, wrapped up by Grimer.
That was a great effort. Andrew Jansen then was fantastic in that. That's, young man, know yourself. The body's on the line. Great stuff.
On 50 for the Devils. Johnson, Rinaldi. Clinton Brown was taken high as he was trying to kick it, and he was taken high by Andrew Jansen.
Again, free. Bit of lack of discipline, or maybe just poor execution close to goal.
Go short. Ronaldson's got to get in front.
Lack of confidence, though, from Brown, really.
Rinaldi was just filling in the gap nicely. Big lad, Rinaldi. 198 centimetres at last count. At the back. Opportunity now for Grimer. He got it to Callanan, who took it. Spears it in low. Robinson across the body. Ronaldson's in front. Wants to dish it off. Opportunity for Johnson. Good kick, son.
Good stuff.
Good kick.
Good stuff. That'd be a real lift, right? I understand why Matthew Armstrong hasn't played this guy all year, because he just wasn't getting a lot of the ball after he played the first couple of games and did well. But, geez, he's an interesting sort of, because of the size of him. Watch when it comes to ground here. He had no trouble at all picking that up at ground level. So not is he only 205 centimetres, but he can do that. When this guy gets a bit of self-belief, lifts his skill a little bit more and perhaps a little bit more aggression in his game, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
So, jumping out of the blocks, the Devils, 3-2-20. So, great start to Markham Johnson's game here as well. So, great athleticism as he got first hands on the contest as well. Backwards went Howard for the Hawks. Alloway back in defence, the captain. Harvey in the contest. At the back was Shackleton. Quick hands to Brown. On the overlap was Hazelwood. Just defensive side of centre for the Devils. Grimer in best position. Robinson led his man 10 metres to the ball. Callanan to provide the block. Robinson comes inside. Then just looks out in front on the fat side for Ronaldson, but in the end he was pushed under the ball by Scott, and a good mark was taken by Cam Howard for the Box Hill Hawks.
Matty Gapin just peeled off, hoping for the crumb. Didn't make it a contest.
There's a blood rule just behind play, just at half back for the, or half forward for the Box Hill Hawks. I'm not quite sure who's coming off. Just hurt his head. Just the blood rule, probably behind the ear, it looks like.
I'll grab a couple of one of the matchups. Christian Hay, I think, did we say that? Christian Hay has the job on Ian Callanan so far. And he's done a pretty good job, but you can see if you just give Callanan an inch, just a little bit of space and an odd bit of luck, he's going to hurt you. Just his last 5 minutes have been very good, Ian Callanan.
It's Paul Jolly coming off with a cut on the ear, or just around the ear. Howard's got the ball. He brings it back into play. Still in the defensive 50 for the Box Hill Hawks. Neville from deep in the back pocket area. He goes to centre wing. Johnson just nudged his opponent nicely, Rinaldi, and just put his arms up. Took the grab. Street, inside 50. Thurgood, good hands, Platt. Just strong.
Good leap. That's his power. He's leaping. And he's got great balance. You know, he always catches the ball in front of his eyes. Just watch.
Looks like Paul Jolly will be going straight to the rooms, guys. He may well need some stitches to a nasty cut behind the ear. And Matthew Armstrong hasn't persisted with Jovanovic on Alloway. He's moved Brennan Savage onto him now.
Well spotted.
Thank you, Alistair.
He knows his job this boy, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, we better be careful up here, Benno.
Justin Platt will make it 4 goals to zip. But the wind's just dragged it across. Dragged it across a long way, in fact.
Yeah, if someone of his experience, you would have expected a better result. Would not have learnt from Matthew Jovanovic's shot on goal. He did pretty much the same. I wouldn't have expected Justin Platt to miss everything from that distance.
So some famous shoes Doug Scott has to fill, doesn't he, Andy, with Father Don Scott, Hawthorn captain and champion player. So he starts play again. And Nathan Street just pushed Andrew Jansen under the ball like he was a marshmallow then. So Nathan Street, who's part of that season campaign group now, probably his 4th or 5th year for the Devils, and a very good quality midfield, small type player. Goes long. Thurgood, great leap from behind. Green was taken high in the tackle.
Yeah, very high.
Just Justin Platt just jumped off the ground and got Stephen Green a bit high across the...
I think it was Benny Beams in the end.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he jumped into him. Just poor technique. He was set up for the tackle.
So Green goes out wide. Brett Gapin took a nice mark. Again, just some physical strength favouring the Devils as he comes inside the Platt and normally has good hands. McGlynn.
Got him again.
So just a little bit of spite taken high, and the captain just has to be a little bit careful. So Andy Bennett, we can just see that again.
5-1, the Box Hill are leading the free kicks. Remember, they've given away 350 metres, though. And a little bit of lack of discipline or feeling in both sides.
So McGlynn just went short to Howard. And again, at the back of the pack, we see...
Playing a lot of confidence.
Savage,
no, you can see it, back themselves into mark, take on players.
So Savage went long down to... And there's another one-on-one contest. And Green this time pushed the Devils captain under the ball, and Stephen Green will start play again for the Box Hill Hawks.
He was told to play on, so he went short, just to Howard again, the defensive side. We've boxed them up in there. We've been playing just under 26 minutes.
That wasn't a play on words.
You've got to ignore that. Don't encourage him, Andrew.
Defensive side to half forward. The kick was good. Savage at the back, just long arms. Grimer in and out of trouble. Gapin has been busy. Good courage there from Gapin, his brother. Just back to goal. Got it through Atkin to Brown, who squared it up. Millwood just drifted across Murphy. Kick came from Kristen Height in the end, and that was a good kick. Now they're on the fat side of North Hobart. Opportunity for Sam Rudolph. He's probably just too far out to score. He can set it up for Alloway. He goes in that direction. Rinaldi's there as well. 1-on-1. Savage at his back to goal. Miller can let it go, and it's a goal. And he was too far out to score, but he wasn't. Sam Rudolph has let it dribble through, eluded a few contests, and Harry Miller just let it go. Big kick. That's nearly from just the attacking side of the centre field. Savage was... Something happened with him and Alloway, and there was no one guarding the square. And the first goal for the Hawks.
I don't know whether Matty Armstrong will be happy with the numbers of players that Tassie got back to fill in that gap. The ball was held outside 50 for a long time. I would have expected to be greater attention playing to get some big bodies or numbers of bodies back in that goal square. In the end, Savage just left one out and he just was beaten in the one-on-one contest.
So they get on the board for the first time. Miller just wraps up Robinson. Foot race. Jansen and Gapin. Callan it was, rather. Hyde just went over the top. Takes Scott on the overlap. Centre wing at North Hobart Oval. Goes long and direct. Grimer spoils. McGlynn just tried to square it up at the back. Alloway just left his opponent. Great tap over the shoulder to Harry Miller, and welcome back to North Hobart, Harry. That was a great play. Andy Bennett, wasn't it?
Great tap on. The tap prize, I didn't catch it, was a fantastic tap from Clinton Alloway, who's been good. He's figured in the last 2 goals. He didn't kick the one previous to this, but he did win the one-on-one contest with Jason Savage, and that's just smarts, just awareness. He's dangerous, very dangerous, Miller. He hasn't kicked the ball very well to date. You wouldn't imagine it'd take too many possessions for him to put a bit of a hole in this game.
Well, the last 2 goals for Box Hill Hawks have got them right back in it. Tassie had all the play, but the last 2 or 3 minutes the Hawks had come away. Beams steals it, kick in the Platt direction. Thurgood behind it, big fist to it. Opportunity now for Jansen. Kick just came a little off the side of the foot, but might favour them. Alloway was in front. Savage was behind on the full, just against Kenny Hall. Just unlucky in the end.
Yeah.
It's Craig Martin in the on screen there, intently watching a former coach of the University Football Club in southern Tasmania. Avid Hawks supporter he is. Inside 50, Payton, Gapin, in and out of trouble.
Andrew Jansen's an interesting character. Yeah, he's got a little bit of the ball of late. Started on the bench, or was named on the bench, playing the wing. Tall's only been playing footy for a couple of years, just 2 years, and he doesn't look out of sorts here at all, and who knows at a greater level, because he's good heights, 195.
Benny Beams, not quite that tall. Callanan. Kristen Hyde just nudged him out of the Alloway. Can square it up inside 50. The numbers favour the Hawks. Just a good bit of filling the gap from Nathan Street. Saved the day.
Nathan Street goes out wide on centre wing and spotted Sam Rudolph, who just dropped back from half forward to take a mark for the Hawks. Rudolph just went short. Out centre wing for the Hawks again. He just drove the ball that was Rudolph into half forward where Gapin went. Brett Gapin, you've been pinged for a free kick there. Yeah, I thought he might have been a bit high, Andy Bennett, on his direct opponent.
He's trying to argue otherwise, but it's not going to change, Brett. Watch here. Yeah, well, he's probably could argue that he's really trying to punch the ball. The arm was high, but that's where the ball was. Tim Harvey now line out for goal. So it's been all Box Hill Hawks in the time on period. The last 3 or 4 minutes, they've had all the play in their forward line.
So a very important shot for goal from Tim Harvey, which will just tighten the game up. And he'll kick from about 43, 42 metres once boot goes to ball. So directly in front, should goal, Harvey. And again, they always let you down, don't they? And he misses to the...
It's a little bit of local knowledge up in that corner, because the fall of the land and the way the topography of North Hobart. That's not a bad word on a Saturday. Topography of North Hobart. The wind has less effect up in that pocket. Right. Down at the left of screen, because it's more open, the wind has a huge effect. Players who play here all the time know that. You can't expect a Box Hill Hawk players just flown in yesterday to know that. But he's learnt.
Well, that's your explanation, Andy. I'm not sure what you think, Chris.
Well, he dropped it wrong. He dropped it wrong onto his boot.
That's a bad kick. Tight game, very tight game. It was all contest. I think we called somewhere through there. It was all contest for the first 10 or 12 minutes. Then Tassie Devils had a bit of a purple patch, kicked their 3 goals in pretty quick time, and then Box Hills won the last little bit. Really, in terms of where the game was played, it was probably played more on the left of screen, that is in the Tasmanian forward line. But Box Hill Hawks, I thought they worked very hard in their forward line. I think they've got quite a dangerous forward line. Alloway hasn't kicked goals, but he looks like a good target, very experienced. He had played key roles in both their goals. Harry Miller looks really dangerous to me. Down the other end, I think we've got a really good matchup, Thurgood versus Plapp. I think that's going to have a big impact on the game. In midfield, it's been about even. No one's really dominated. Markham Johnson, that was a real shot in the arm for his confidence, that goal, and we can look forward to him to contributing even more than he has in the past. But it's just very, very, very much line ball, as you would expect when two teams have to go head-to-head for life or death in terms of a finals position. That's maybe the way it's going to be all day. I did think Tassie, when they played their better football, looked a little bit better than the Hawks because they're just a bit stronger and maybe physically a bit stronger in the midfield. But, gee, you'd be a brave man to call it.
Well, it is a bit of a mini-final today, and I think early on in the contest there were some pretty spectacular highlights from the first term. We had 5 goals kicked, 3 of them to Tassie, and Tassie just started well. And Plapp, I thought, was very dangerous. That contest with Thurgood, this was a good bit of team play. Good,
great finish from Todd Grimer. Kicks inside 40, starting that close to the goal square. He knew about the wind here and looked for a while like that was going to miss. I think we called it was going to miss. Brett Robertson's been very good, very busy. Watch this at ground level from Markham Johnson. That's a guy who's 205 centimetres and still going. He's the athleticism to pick that up and hook it over his shoulder was terrific. And this just carries a long, long, long way. The key contest here is that Sam Rudolph who kicks it. The key contest there was Alloway versus Savage, and Alloway just got Savage under the ball. Disappointing from Tassie not to have enough players in the goal square or thereabouts to make the contest. Great tap on Alloway again. You don't have to take possession of the ball to be constructive. Alan Jesus ran that down our throats all the time many, many years ago, and there's a clear example of why.
The quarter time stats will kicks favour Box Hill fairly substantially.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that actually, because as Andy said, I thought the Devils had a fair bit of the ball in the first 15 minutes of the quarter. Handballs, well, again, there's a huge deficit there, Andy Bennett, 29-8, so we could argue maybe overuse.
Yep.
We worked down inside 50s. Well, 11-16 fairly, I mean,
surprises me, that one. Look at that, 16-11, Hawks
yeah.
5 more.
And of course the 50-metre penalty is a significant stat there in terms of 3 in favour of the Devils. So on the hit-outs 11-6. So Johnson and Ronaldson early days, Chris, were good getting first hands to the footy, weren't they?
But the clearances were 4-2 in favour of the Hawks in the centre field. And Benny Beams has been doing a lot of talking at the quarter-time huddle. I'll be interested to see whether Matty Armstrong's just trying to reset up.
You know, I remember Benny Beams when he's a nervous youngster, wouldn't say boo to a goose. Now, I remember having him in statesides, but he's matured and grown as a player. It's going to be a big battle between him and Stephen Green, and it's about even. Stephen Green's to be the first time Stephen Green would have had a weight advantage in any football contest ever in his life. You know, because Benny Beams is such a slight player, but that's a really dangerous matchup, or it shows how much danger Andy Collins attaches to Ben Beam to put a player of his ilk on there.
You can just see Matthew Armstrong, and he, as we said earlier in the opener, Andy Bennett, he's done a marvellous job, hasn't he, Matthew Armstrong, in his tactics and the way he's got the most out of all the players.
Yeah, because it's against my nature to make heaps and heaps of moves. I think when I coach, he makes a lot. He shuffles them around. He sees players in lots of positions, and I think it's the way to go, especially with the side he's got, because they've got so many mid-sized players. I think he's made full use of his resources.
Hit the packs hard was the last word there. It's front and square.
I think he will be saying, let's be a little bit more direct, especially now if he persists with either Ronaldson or Markham Johnson playing close to goal. I can understand why they're chipping around early on where they didn't have any real height close to goal, but if they persist with those two players, I think he'll go there. Andy Collins will be, I think, upset with a bit of discipline. 350 metres are clear examples, a couple of call frees, but I think he'd be very, very pleased with the pressure that his forward line has put on the Tasmanian defence. They've held it in there very well. They haven't done well out of centre-half forward. They might try and think of trying to get another taller, bigger player, stronger player in there. But I think he can see that he'd have a bit of an advantage if he can get it to Alloway one-on-one against Savage. Savage's been good, but if he can isolate that contest, because Alloway's a bigger, taller guy than Savage, that may be some advantage.
Would you play Thurgood on the ball?
Oh, they have, but I think they've decided Plapp's the danger.
Yep.
And Plapp's good quality.
Yeah,
he's very, very good quality.
Already
Matthew,
we've seen the...
We've got Matthew Armstrong down here, boys. Matthew, happy with the start to the game?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a stoppage start. There's a bit of an arm wrestle early. We broke. I think we were just, the last 5 minutes, we just weren't accountable enough. The ball spilled out to their players that were free in space, and when you give that time and space of quality players, they use the ball well. I just think we've just got to tighten up a bit more in, all over the ground with our accountability and move the ball a bit quicker. I think we're a bit stagnant outside 50.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you, Alistair. That was extraordinary.
A little kid down here, boys.
Well, it's great to get that sort of insight, isn't it? You know,
it's good. It hasn't the world changed. I keep saying it every time I hear a coach talking, but no, it's that you couldn't argue at all with the way he summed that up. Because half of it, I think we said, didn't we?
We did.
Well, that's why you're the expert commentator, Andy Bennett.
Oh, he that said it. I wished I had said it.
So we see Markham Johnson on screen. He's an interesting customer, as you mentioned. Just the athleticism that he showed to kick that goal, Andy Bennett. And I think he was playing, how's this, in the Alberton League last year. Down at Foster or somewhere like that.
Yeah,
and
that's having a bit of a laugh.
So good on him. Well done, and hope his career goes a long way.
He's starting on ball, and they've gone. Ronaldson's playing close to goal. One out against Daniel Breeze, I think he's got. Is it? I'll try and pick that. I haven't turned around. I think it's Daniel Breeze he's got. He did have Doug Scott at one stage, but now Doug Scott's pushing out to pick up. Gee, it's a bit hard to pick him up at that out end. But anyway, the important part in that,
Scott's got Platt.
Scott's got Platt now, is that Matthew Armstrong has the confidence to start with Markham Johnson in the ruck, because Travis Ronalds has been very good in the last 5 weeks as a ruckman.
Callan's gone in the middle. For the Devils, no, they've swapped again. Scott's just looks like he might have the loose forward. Plapp's personed up with Thurgood. Tassie.
Scott's got Robinson, as it turns out, is it? No.
To go right of screen.
Henley.
Johnson against Millwood. Johnson got his hands to it and will get a free. Millwood just kept running at him, and Johnson will take the free. Good contest. Wants to give it off to Kenny Hall, who can kick to half forward. Henley's got 2 to beat. One of them was Scott, and he came with a big fist at the back.
Good confidence from Thurgood to peel off his opponent, have the confidence to do that, and make the third man up in the contest. Tassie hasn't used the ball well a couple of times like that. They've kicked it, I reckon, 3 or 4 times now to 1 against 2 situations.
Just outside 50. Johnson got it to hands again. Opportunity now for the Hawks to come through centre field. The kick was effective in sliding forward. A good catch was taken by Luke Brennan. On centre wing of North Hobart, Grimer. Couldn't quite affect the spoil. One-on-one, Savage against Alloway. Gapin has got to get through the tackle. Good from Alloway. I thought he got rid of it in time, but he didn't, according to the umpire. Play on's the call. The kick was good. Found Thomas Murphy in the forward pocket, and there'll be no 50. Just Russell Giddis gave the slight hint that he might be bringing Ivanovic back.
Just a mistake too there, Andy Bennett, by Brett Gavin, taking the tackler on.
Yeah, it's a hard one. It was a good tackle, good strong. He had to hit a steam up, so it was a good tackle. It was only just too long, but it was, I agree, too long.
Murphy.
He's kicked it.
He has. And the first time in the match, the Box Hill Hawks are ahead.
And you've got to say they've won the last 10 minutes. Certainly won the last 10 minutes. They kicked their 2 goals at the end of the first quarter, the last few minutes of the first quarter, and they've opened up and kicked the first goal there. And a hard one on Brett Gapin in the tackle, but I think it was a fair decision. Again, you can point to Kenny Hall's decision. Hall's been bought off. There might be something to do with that poor decision to kick it 2-on-1, or maybe he's just trying to rotate his midfield.
So just a 1-point ball game as the Hawks put their nose in front for the first time. Millwood got over the top of Johnson there. Atkin off the line with ball. Just a loose ground.
In the back, Benny Atkin will come back. I think Hall will be off. I was watching what happened. Danny Noonan was pointing more direct. He wasn't happy with that kick into the forward line.
So, Ben Atkin, probably the premier player for the Devils over the last 4 or 5 years, goes out wide. Stevens on the ground. He's got the job on Miller, and he took him too high with his first effort. So not a good start for Scott Stevens. He's got to be careful again that he doesn't lose his cool and penalise the team. So Harry M. No, it's not Harry M. It's Harry Miller. Half-back for the Hawks. Okay, now 2-on-1. Johanovic or taken high. No, Gapin in the tackle. Loose ball. Payton got a quick kick out forward. Callan has to come back with courage. Alloway taken high, no free kick. Again, contest nice and clever there. Around the body was Harvey, just squared it up beautifully. And he found Matthew Ball So just clever in close skills there. As we see Harvey just come back inside. And Matthew Ball is a dead set ringer for his brother Luke Ball. So I'm sure they would have got up to no good as teenagers coming through the ranks, Chris and Andy.
It's a good contest in the backyard and out in the front yard and down the park.
So Matthew Ball kicks right on 50 in the top. Uncontested. Gee, Tim Harvey was the only one that really wanted that footy, as I think the Devils players thought it might have been going
just
through.
Just gave up on it. That's... Armstrong will be ropeable, and with reason. And it's happened twice. Not enough attention to detail to play it out.
So Tim Harvey will kick from point-blank range. And he should post the Hawks' 4th goal. So there it is. And as Andy Bennett alluded to, some disappointing contests that have resulted in 2 direct goals for the Box Hill Hawks.
They've kicked 4 in a row from the 26-minute mark of the second quarter, and that's just not respecting the contest. There was not, again, lack of experience maybe, but you needed someone like Markham Johnson just to be back there to destroy that, belt it away. Someone had to pick up the other ruckman. You had to get another tall defender in there somehow.
We've been playing under 5 minutes and it's turned around from a 5-point break for the Devils to a 7.1 for Box Hill. Johnson, he thumped it forward. Opportunity for Gaper. Just sits quite nicely for him, then pops it up. Ronaldson, one-on-one at the back. Just letting it dribble through in the end was Daniel Breeze. Just good contest there with Ronaldson. Breeze, who's 193 centimetres himself. Kick was good to Green. Stephen Green at half-back. Just pops it over the top. Ball, just sharing it around the Box Hill Hawks. They've had a lot of possession since the quarter-time break. Howard comes bursting through to half-forward. Clean bowls everyone. Grimer's at the back. He's got Payton with him. He's got support through Robinson. Grimer, the kick is going to have to be good. Numbers favour the Devils. Street just couldn't quite drag it down. Now it might spill free. Howard, inboard, outboard. Clever in the end. Opportunity for Brennan. Coughed it up. Ball. Setchell. Trying to shovel it forward. Payton, inside 50. Pops on goal. Just misses. The Devils are a little lucky.
Just can't get the ball at the moment, the Devils. Box Hill have been very good in the contest, tackled very well. They've worked really hard to just keep that in their forward line again, and any spillage, any loose ones, any contests, the Box Hill Hawks have the advantage at the moment.
So Kenny Hall to kick out, the designated kicker as he has been for most of the year, although spending a bit more time forward these days. Kenny Hall goes outside 50, looks for Johnson, and look, he looked good then, didn't he?
Yeah.
Almost took the catch. He got off on his knees and tried to find Matthew Gapin inside to Robinson, who just loves to run. Savage, defensive halfback. Now that's got to be in front. Beams needs to push off, went to ground, and Green, oh, good effort from the skipper. Green just kept his feet, some good experience from Stephen Green. Kenny Hall pushed under the ball beautifully by Neville. Alloway just overlapped, normally a good kick. Harvey just pushes Gapin out, who was courageous and strong and kept his eyes on the ball.
That was the point, wasn't it? Under pressure, he's able to find the ball, kept his eye on it.
Squared up to Shackleton. So just a bit of tic-tac-toe in the backyard, back to Johanovic. Just waxing there, Shackleton and Johanovic. He's got some space. So this needs to come, I'll still say this side of the ground, just to protect the chance of it coming back out against Savage. So Platt, and at the back was Grimer. Green, front and square, wrapped up in the pack. Scott got a quick handball out to Thurgood, who showed plenty of athleticism and just held it in with one hand. Alloway, nice and strong work from Henley it was. Payton got it up. Murphy. Harry Miller. It's very, very exciting. Short kick, Harvey and Gapin. Contest. Rudolph just off the ground. Robinson's got to come in. Could have been a free kick to Rudolph, and he's picked it. Just held off the ball a bit, I thought, there.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I reckon there's... I won't call it until I see a replay of it, but I reckon he's milked that for everything. See, is there any real grab in that? No. Well, maybe right at the end. Maybe right at the end when he pinned his arms.
I agree with you, Andy Bennett. I think he was a bit stiff there, Scotty Stevens. So 2 free kicks in about 5 minutes on the paddock for Scotty Stevens. So Sam Rudolph will kick from about 25 metres. Drop punt, deliberate approach, and the umpire did not move, and the Hawks just go further out in front.
You can see when he kicked that very deliberately, he leant forward, kept his head right over the ball, knew the wind was there, so he's very keen on getting the ball drop, the release of the ball as close to foot as possible so the wind couldn't play much of a role. And good shot on goal. 2 goals now to Sam Rudolph, proving a little bit of a danger up forward. I wouldn't expect there's going to be a lot of goals kicked in this game, so 2 goals is already a major contribution.
And the Hawks have just skipped away a little. Just under 9 minutes. Got the last 5 goals in a row. Johnson, his hands to the contest in the middle. Just shoveled forward the Devils' way. Might come bouncing back in the minute. Breeze to half forward. Running with a flight was Robinson. Had some support from Henley. Miller, they both kept their feet. Miller trapped it nicely. Pops it up.
Out on the full. Carried the line.
It was looking for Thomas.
Ken Hall's now playing out of the goal square, guys. He kicked 4 goals in the second quarter last week, and Matthew Armstrong's obviously hoping he can do the same today. And Sam Rudolph has re-emerged from the rooms wearing the Brewstall headband and number 61 now because he had blood on his jumper.
Thank you very much, Alice. Got to get it up to Kenny Hall. They haven't had much possession, the Devils, from the beginning of the second term. It's on centre wing. A lot of players around the bounce. Johnson won it again. Miller sharked it to half forward. Thomas Murphy was the target with Jovanovic.
Once the ball gets out there at North Hobart on the Ryde Street side, close to with this sort of wind, it could stay there for big periods of the game.
All right, Millwood and Johnson, so let's try and get some action happening. Loose ball. Howard comes inside. Just a space. Shackleton should get there first. The bounce favoured Payton, who was good. Went round the body to ball. Gapin just took a nice, strong, positive grab of the ball and went out wide looking for Grimer. Again, just an off break or a leg break that time. Scott taken strongly in the tackle by Grimer, which was good work. Fighting strongly as well was Matthew Ball again, working hard for the Hawks. So both conditions from the wind's perspective and also ground level just causing the players.
Yeah, a bit of B-grade bounces for a couple of times. That's games an oval. The ball's an oval shape. That's what happens with it. You're always going to get a slice of luck that way. But Tassie been asked a question here. They've got to lift their intensity.
So a number of players around the ball. Johnson just stretched over the top.
The other thing Tassie got to find, they've got to find a way to get Callanan, Beams, Plapp into the game. They're 3 of their most highest quality games, and you've got to say the matchups that Andy Collins has worked there has so far worked. Kirsten Hite in particular has done a very, very good job on Ian Callanan.
Johnson just to palm down to Gapin, who looked for the free kick, didn't get it. And again, so this is the 2nd or 3rd time within 30 seconds we've had some stoppages, and as Matthew Armstrong said to Alistair Nicholson at quarter time, that the game was played with a number of stoppages in the first quarter and no different in the second quarter, as the Hawks just through Cam Howard look to surge ahead as Johnson jumps up over Millwood. Bit of volleyball and touching basketball as well. Setchell, Hyatt, Miller, who just seems to find space, and that's a sign of a good play. But Andy Bennett mentioned his disposals let him down a couple of times. Grimer comes back to Jovanovic, who was poised and cool, then went long into half forward. At the back, Hawks outnumbered. Ronaldson was good front and square for a rover. Now here's the go. Kenny Hall pushes, and with his direct opponent in this case, Hall tries to work. Thurgood comes in to lend a hand at the end. We saw Alistair Neville, who was a direct on Kenny, go back for a behind. Chris Smythe.
Just terrific one-on-one contest. Alistair Neville got his hand on them, but that was just very, very good one-on-one. Good stuff from Ronaldson back in there. Just get it to the goal square. Quick one-on-one. Stephen Green to kick in.
Only the 2nd score for Tassie this term. Goes in short to Scott. Been both points. Scott's been told to hurry on. He wants to switch, wants to go, and he decides in the end to go that way to Thurgood. He just got some space on Plapp.
Inside 50s at the moment are 25 to Box Hill Hawks, 13 to Tassie. 25 to 13, 2-1.
Neville gives it back to Green. And in game match territory, but they kept possession. Green can switch again if he wants. Decides to not go completely that way. Ronaldson got his hands to it. Numbers might favour the Devils. Street just got to get rid of it. Callanan has some work to do. He's good enough. Through centre field of North Hobart, Callanan pops it up. Perfect kick to Benny Beams. Can go on with it. Captain's goal needed. Terrific, terrific. Callanan and Beams.
You just that well, which we call. If you can give them, if you give or if they find whatever happens, some space, they will hurt you. That's why Andy Collins put such good players and such tight tags on them. That's Callanan's first possession of this quarter, and look at the quality of it. Compare that to someone like Miller or a couple of other players when they've kicked the ball recently, where they just couldn't complete the job. Callan, non-dominant side, beautiful left foot pass over 40-50 metres with that wind, and Ben Beams on his left side running into goal. Never going to miss. Quality counts.
So just stemming the tide a bit then, as Andy Bennett mentioned, Callanan and Beams, some of the playmakers that he referred to early. Atkin, Setchell. So the rotations for the Devils coming strong all the time. Ronaldson. Ben Setchell's been pinged here.
Well, he worked hard. He was caught one. He had one. The ball somehow caught between his legs at one stage.
So Howard was the recipient. Oh, nice mark by Clinton Halloway in front of Luke Shackleton. So good forward move for the Hawks. Halloway leading the goal kicking for the Hawks. Now he goes for about a 45-metre short pass looking for Murphy. Front and square there for the Devils was Shackleton. Street. Harvey just working hard, goes back again to Scott, who's worked his way down forward. A big jump from Luke Brennan, but to no avail. So just a little bit more action, a bit more excitement in that passage of play there, Andy.
Well, again, I think Box Hill Hawks have just been a bit better, harder, tougher in the contest now. Like that was a fair income one-on-one contest. There was an even distribution of players from both sides in that contest, and Box Hill Hawks won out.
Alice, I just don't know if you can tell us if Justin Plapp's been taken off by Matty Armstrong, or is he still out there?
Yeah, it looks like he's just come off for a rest, boys. Sam Lonigan's gone onto the ground.
Thanks for that, Alistair. The target was Johnson. Setchell wrapped up in a tackle. He won't get pinged for throwing there. It was going absolutely nowhere. One of the tackles was Neville, Alistair Neville. Umpire Shane Stewart. Just the attacking side of centre wing for the Box Hill Hawks. Johnson, Millwood, just left it for him in the end. Tap was good. Benny Beams, natural left footer. Callanan was just wanting it to go a little longer. Kristen Height stole it. Conceded ground to Scott. He's taken off. If they work him hard, something might come of this. Kenny Hall put the pressure on. Opportunity now for Hall again. Standing start. Brilliant. Oh, brilliant. Lonigan was also in there making an effort to cause a turnover, but
Green comes to the top. Use whatever metaphor you want. It was just that. Good pressure in there. Good out. You're right. Lonigan just worked very hard. And just cool, calm, collected and skilled. Very good, very, very good, very needed goal. Can he do what he did last week when they played Sandringham and kicked 4 goals? That's his first goal for the day.
And I'm sure he would have practiced many of those shots as a junior.
Sorry, he did kick one in the first one. Sorry, Andrew.
No, I'm saying he would have practiced many of those shots as a junior in his days with North Hobart.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one that Devils badly needed. Johnson at ground level. Ball. Got it out. Setchell intercepted beautifully. Came inside in his left to Luke Shackleton. Squares off to Scott Stevens. Comes back inside. You've got to get rid of it quickly. Shackleton put under the pump by Stevens again. So the Devils, the turnover's been forced by Rinaldi. Andy Collins would be happy with the pressure there. And now it's snuck out again at the back and Shackleton has the ball. Johnson, kick smothered again. So the intensity starting to lift here. Street taken high in the back. And good work from Nathan Street.
And it's good work from Ronaldson. The Hawks are away a second ago, and he got his hand in there.
And Ben Beams, Chris, has been pinged for holding the ball. So
took him on.
Intensity really starting to lift.
Yes, but some poor decision making from Tassie. From Stevens to hang on to it so long. His skill level was exposed. He didn't have a left foot, wasn't confident on it, and that was really the reason why that ball stayed in that area.
So Kirkby, long. Harvey the target, works his way to the front. No free kick there. Ground level, Brown. Setchell looks to come inside it. Swarm of Box Hill Hawks, and the umpire's paid a free kick.
Setchell, I reckon you can see in Setchell's that he hasn't played a lot of footy this year. He's just a beat off getting rid of the ball quickly enough. He's just getting caught a bit. He's not quick over the ground, but normally he's very quick with his hands.
Alistair, could you just tell us while Shackleton's running through the middle and probably kick a goal whether Thurgood's had to come off because he's injured?
Yeah, it looks like he's got an injury to his right knee. He came off hobbling. He's gone straight to the trainer holding his right knee, and Kirkby's come on for him.
Thanks for that, Alistair. That might throw the Hawks into a bit of tail spin in the back half. He's been playing very well, Thurgood. Kick was good. Came across to Matty Ball. The kick was from Kirkby. Out wide finds Green. Just the tempo's dropped a little. It was fairly intense a few seconds ago. Another good kick and the good hands. Murphy is in front. Green on the overlap. Now can square it up. 1-on-1. Ronaldson just was a very good mark.
Give a free off ball.
Yeah.
It's going to give it for the Shepherd. Yeah,
it's going to go to...
See, that's line ball decision, that one.
Rory Kirkby against Lonergan.
He's probably done all the right things, protecting Ronaldson to take the mark, but ruled illegal.
Kirkby, long kick. Harvey's there in front. It's a Box Hill Hawks mark. No, it's not. I thought it was Alloway who nearly dragged it down.
Yeah.
But he wasn't paid.
You can see why he's a dangerous player, isn't he? He hasn't kicked a heap of goals this year, but he always presents, always gives a very good contest.
So Gapin's got the job on Harvey, so Rinaldi just pushed Ronaldson out the way. Could have been taken in the back, out the back. Payton taken high, no free kick play. Shackleton just was strong and aggressive, trying to wrap him up. Howard just trying to get it in as well, so...
That's hard. It's right decision, but it's hard because the guy making all the play in there was Shackleton. He tackled, got the ball back, went to ground, but he did hang on to it too long in the end. Or he threw it, or whatever the decision is. It's very unlucky. He was the playmaker. Watch it. That tackle was marginal, but he's worked and worked and worked. He's done all he could. That could have been too high, and then put the ball on the ground. But gee, who was doing all the work in there?
Okay, so Thomas Murphy or Rory Kirkby. We just couldn't find out who that was here, but it looked like...
I think it's Murphy, isn't it?
Yep, it is Thomas Murphy, and he scores a bit of a belated goal in the end for the Hawks from a free kick where Luke Shackleton, that's his second, as Chris Mythe reminds me there too, so Luke Shackleton a little bit stiff there trying to make the play. But anyway, a throw is a throw, Andy Bennett.
Yeah, he made the play. I think, yeah, you're right. The decision was right in the end, technically right, but you just feel for Luke Shackleton because he made all the play in it. Murphy's second goal of the quarter. And he'll be a very brave man to call the result of this game. Very, very tight.
It's back out to 7 points. In the middle, Ronaldson against Rinaldi. Squeezing it out. Setchell was taken without it. Play on's the call. Murphy, Miller. Opportunity now for Rudolph. Pumps it in long. Gaping at the back. He's got to get his hand to it. He didn't.
Gee.
I think there's trouble. Rudolph has kicked it.
And there was no shot on goal. That was just pressure in the middle of the field. Very good hands from Harry Miller over the top and very good at ground level. He was just very, very clean at ground level. Picked the ball up. And the flick over the top was just a lucky one out to Sam. Well, not lucky. That was a great handball, but the kick from Sam Rudolph was lucky.
It's his third goal.
It's gone a long way. So, yeah,
and he's kicked two. His first goal was
just about the same. Yeah, might be his. You have days like that. I can't remember having one, but some guys have days like that. And it's out to that 2-goal break again.
So deep into the second quarter at North Hobart, and the Hawks just gained that advantage again. So Ronaldson to jump. It was a clean, decisive knock there. Ground level. He works hard, Ben Setchell, all the time, taking in a tackle and going nowhere and then driven into the ground. As the very, very clear and distinguishable umpire comes in the orange gear to bounce the ball and start again. Umpire Gittis goes down. In the back, Ronaldson will be the recipient there. So undisciplined play there from Rinaldi. Travis Ronaldson. Right in the centre at North Hobart Oval, the left footer. The boy from Gippsland kicks it long. Johnson's gone forward at the back. A big spoil by Scott. Beams, just a little dink to Nathan Stroot, who runs onto it and takes a mark deep into the forward pocket here. Right in the corner of the Horrig orange stand. I might let Andy Bennett talk us through this because he is the expert on these ones.
The topography. Well, you can see where he's sitting. We won't get wide enough shot, but the wind's not going to have an effect here until it gets closer to goal. So he can just about go at the right goal post here. It's not his strength kicking for goal, Nathan Street, but he has improved enormously. Watch here, kick at the right goal post.
Take us through it, Andy Bennett.
Beautiful. Never in doubt.
Oh, well, there you go.
He's a great goal kicker. But here on North Hobart, that is the pocket if you want to be kicking with the big win. Oh, no, it's a point.
No, he's let you down. I was just going to try and interrupt you.
Relax back. I've made a fool of myself. Thanks for that, Andrew.
Getting carried away.
I was just hoping.
And Alistair's Justin Plapp just popped back onto the field. I thought...
Yeah, Todd Grime has come off the ground and Plapp's gone back on, so obviously nothing too wrong with him, although the coach has said that this season he's pretty much resigned to playing at 80-90%.
Thanks, Alistair. That was an 80-90% risky kick, but it might have come off. Opportunity for Batchelor, who just went without it, but he got it to Rinaldi. The Hawks can pump it long again. Scott Alloway's at the back, Plapp's there as well. Numbers wanted at the fall of the ball. Stevens was in hard and taken in the back as he went to ground. Shackleton takes advantage, has a bounce, goes again. Good shepherd, that came from Stevens. He just wants Setchell to either shepherd him off. He gives it to Gapin. Gapin now, inside 50, Benny Beams. Just the kick wasn't quite long enough. Good contest against Sam Rudolph.
Andy Ben, I reckon there's some really, really encouraging signs there with Luke Shackleton running with the ball and getting more confidence.
Yeah, it's been a good move, as we called early on, playing him back in defence. It's a simpler game, I think. You start next to your opponent, ball comes into the area, then you try and win it one-on-one, and he's good at one-on-one stuff. But very good to see him run with the ball, you're right.
Johnson at the back might have infringed. He did.
A bit of inexperience, I reckon, for both Ronaldson and, to a greater degree, Johnson. They've just played behind in ruck contests a bit and given away frees. When they've got in front, they've done well. Doug Scott.
Doug Scott it is. I wonder if he brings a handbag and a leather jacket to training, Andy Bennett, like his father did. A great player, of course. So the Hawks just come out wide there. Kirkby, Savage mopped up nicely again. Shackleton getting plenty of the ball, drives the ball long.
Oh, dropped his head.
Robinson just found some space. Grime around the body, just need to bring it back a bit more. And in the end, the execution was just a little bit poor, to say the least, from Nathan Grimer, but he shows plenty of potential. I really like him. Someone that has really developed as the season's progressed.
Good skills from Damien Scully to give it back to Miller. Cheers to the...
Plapp now playing centre-half back.
Switches play, Miller. Cuts across the goals. Got it to Green. You might want to go inboard. Miller with pace. Could have got it back, but Green goes long. Setchell just a bit out of position. Numbers favour the Hawks. Opportunity for Matthew Ball. Play on's the call. Advantage paid at the back is Plapp. Shackleton. Grimer just in with courage. Now got to get rid of it. Setchell. Head over it. Wrapped up by two. They've been gang tackling Ben Setchell all quarter.
Yeah, I think they're aware of it. He's not quick over the ground. He's not going to run away from you, so you get to him in the first tackle. But it's also the way he wins the ball. He's always going to win the ball in contested play in heavy traffic.
Ronaldson. Numbers favour the Hawks here. Opportunity for Luke Brennan. He got it moving inside 50. Benny Acken went without it. Street, hurry kick, Plapp. Didn't go 10. Good handball from Murphy. And the high ball just to the left-hand side.
Bit out of sorts so far today, Benny Atkin. We haven't seen him take the ball cleanly. Even then, he was just a bit nervous when the ball was at ground level. You know, so when he's really going, he picks up the ball, first grab, runs hard with it. We haven't seen him dominating the way Tassie would like him to play. We haven't seen him at his best.
It's a young bomber there. She would have been happy last night with the form of the Sheedy Bombers. It's Kenny Hall, who was a former Bomber.
Yep.
Spent a couple of years there and played one senior game. So out wide to Atkin, to Shackleton, another former AFL listed player again to another. I'll stop just there. There's Plapp. Kicks long, defensive side of centre. No one in particular target. An uncontested mark was taken down there by Alloway, who got back into defence to help out. And Ben Beam's got to be careful. And the umpire correctly directs him out. So Alloway comes in short to the Gallipoli-looking soldier. And I've forgotten what number he's wearing. Alistair Nixon might have to help me. 61 might be Rudolph, I think he mentioned.
No, it's actually Jolly, boys. Got that
Jolly.
one wrong.
Thanks very much, Al. As Gapen bursts his way through the centre, and North Hobart Beams has found some space. Hits the ground running the skipper. The 2 for the second quarter, Benny Beamans. Oh!
He's got great balance. Terrific balance. It's a good contest in the air. Big spin. And second verse, same as the first. A lot like the goal that Ian Callanan chipped it over the top to him. Matty Gapen kicks long and nearly gets there. Nearly gets there, does Daniel Breeze. Great recovery, good balance. And he's good at this. Right on the siren. So that quarter in the end, we had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals to 3. 5 goals to 3 Box Hill Hawks. They'll be really happy with that result. They'd be very unhappy they just missed one on goal to go right on full time with that quarter. To go in 2 goals up in the context of this game would have been very pleasing. Good fight back in the end there from the Tassie Devils.
They really lost their first 10 to 15 minutes of the quarter.
Yeah, I just think Box Hill Hawks have been better in the clutches. I think they've tackled marginally better. They've won the ball marginally better in the forward line, in the contest. And they've got a couple of bigger guys that allows them to be a little bit more direct going forward. Talking about Murphy and Alloway, and on the other end, Tassie haven't got 2. I think they've broken down when they want to go long and direct, but they haven't really got anyone to stand up at centre half forward at the moment. Very, very tight game.
So at half time, Box Hill Hawks trailing by 5 points at the first term go in with a 7-point break. 7-6-48 to the Tassie Devils, 6-5-41. At half time, some of the highlights of the second term. The Box Hill Hawks really turned it around, particularly early on in that term.
It's Thomas Murphy, strong on the lead. Nearly a clip over there, could have resulted in a 50. Kicked 2 goals in that quarter. Looked a dangerous forward, good 6'2", 6'3" player. Difficult to handle. This was just bad defence. Convinced that was bad defence. He should never, Tim Harvey, have been allowed to take that mark that close to goal.
Murphy's 189 for those people who were born after about 1970. Centimetres Street. This was a terrific goal.
Yeah, and this shows the value. If we haven't seen a lot of Ian Callanan today, but what we've seen has been terrific, and that was just well spotted. We get a replay of that sort of goal in just a minute from Benny Beams. Just dissected the centre of goal with that left foot. This is a bit of class. This is a little purple patch for the Tassie Devils, because a little while it looked like Box Hill Hawks were going to take control of this game. They kicked 5 goals to 3 in that quarter. And this right at the end, that's just luck out of the middle. It was quick onto the boot. Sam ruled off. He's kicked 2 like that today, where he's got the right bounce. And that's a great kick from, you watch it, and it's terrific balance. Spin around, took it on his chest, ran in, replay. And that was just, 10 seconds before half time. And a much needed goal. And we only have just that 1 goal in it.
It's just kicks on screen 93 to 68. So some really positive signs for the Hawks, winning a lot more of the ball with foot. Handballs 29 to 46 in favour of the Devils, so that again that trend has continued. Marks again, Andy just sharing the ball around the Hawks. 41 marks to 23 probably suggests a lot of chipping and sharing.
Yeah, inside 50's been big gap there all day.
Frees 13 to 7. Clearance is starting to even up a little bit, and of course 3 50-metre penalties which cost the Hawks in the first quarter.
Yeah, it should have cost them more dearly. Matthew Jovanovic should have converted when he got 2 in a row. Hit-outs, though, Markham Johnson and Travis Ronalds have done pretty well. I thought Markham Johnson was very good, actually.
Yeah.
But at ground level, I think the Box Hill Hawks held up pretty well.
The goal kickers, will they spread them around Tassie a bit?
Beams with 2, and Andy Bennett mentioned they needed to free up Beams and Callanan. But again, I always wonder about that, Andy, when you go into major games without anyone who you can really go to when you need to. And if they keep the pressure and clamps on Beams and Callanan, then they're going to need some miracle performances from some of their players. And of course, Rudolph has kicked 2 of those good goals with a bit of luck, hasn't he?
A little bit of luck, good luck. Both of them kicked from 60 metres plus, a little bit of bounce and a little bit of body have got them there. But even though Alloway hasn't kicked a goal, I think he's been under that, the sort of player that you were talking about, Andrew. They've been able to go to him under pressure and get a really good contest and perhaps get a goal around it.
And done at half-time. Alistair, you've been in and out of the coaches' boxes. What have you got to report for us?
No, I actually haven't been into the boxes this time, Smythe. I learned my lesson from last time when Matthew Armstrong quickly gave me the boot from the box. So, unfortunately, I've had to stand boundary side and watch the She-Devils performing. So, but it's going to be an interesting second half, I think. And the bad news for Box Hill is that Josh Thurgood has headed to the rooms on crutches. It looks like his knee is going to prevent him taking any further part in the game. Should be a good finish to the match, and great to see the kids out here having a kick at half-time.
There are a lot of kids out there, Alistair.
Did you get a kick, Alistair? Did you get out amongst it?
It's a dangerous job, boys. I think I'm going to have to opt for the helmet next time.
Mate, I think
Balls
you're
flying everywhere.
too busy focusing on the She-Devils, Alistair. I reckon that's what you were doing.
No, Andrew, no.
A lot of people here at North Hobart. It's been a wonderful family. And just, there was some talk during the week that maybe the last time we play here.
Well, it's on the cards. No, it hasn't been confirmed.
I think it's a done deal.
Yeah, there's a feel of, certainly there's a feel that that's the way it's going to go. And you can understand that from the Devils' point of view. The facilities over at Bellarine are far in advance of here. But I just love coming to North Hobart football, and so do a lot of other people. They don't come to North Hobart over to watch the football. It just has a real feel about it, family feel, and that was terrific at half-time as ever when we see the Devils play. Mums and dads and brothers and sisters and daughters and a whole lot of people having a kick.
And there are a lot of people here today watching this footy.
What do you think? I'm going to throw to Andrew's expert. What do you think Matthew Armstrong will do now with Justin Platt now that Thurgood's off? Will he push him forward again?
Yeah, I think so. Just looking at the players as they break, and we can see to the left of screen the Devils, and it looks like Platt's going to work his way down.
Yeah. I think they
forward, so you're right there, Ben. I think they're going to free him up. We've got Savage, looks like he's going to start his way at centre-half forward as well.
Well, this is a way of them countering what we were saying before. They just haven't got under pressure someone big to go. Savage will really give you a contest. He can kick goals, and it looks like they're going to play Platt just about one out in the goal square. But they're going to start. I think Ronaldson's going to start on the ball, and Markham Johnson will start on the bench, and they'll probably rotate that. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ronaldson going forward at some stage, although he hasn't kicked a goal, kicked 3 goals last week.
And also just noticed Benny Atkin moving forward. So you mentioned he was down a bit and wasn't much in the game, so maybe some opportunities for Benny Atkin to get some footy. That's just so uncharacteristic from
4 possessions
Benny Atkin.
But he's versatile and he'll be keen to go. He's a real competitor. But so the Box Hill Hawks, and I think they may have had the edge just in their way. I think they may have been just a little harder in the contest today.
Well, they're 7 points up, and they'll go to right of screen. Ronaldson against Millwood. Neither won it in the end. Gapin went to ground, shovelled it out nicely, got it to Ronaldson, half-distant kick. Loningham was in front, got a cruel bounce. Scott pumps it back. Payton just hit and hope. Shackleton, I like him at half-back. He just looks a lot more comfortable. Dishes it off. Street can kick it long. Savage, big leap, good hands, just couldn't quite drag it down. Millwood's got to get rid of it. In and under Callanan. In trouble, and with terrific balance and pace, can pop up Plapp. He's got 3 to beat, pushed out of it. The umpire said play on. No free kick to Justin, who couldn't quite understand it.
Chris, got some more bad news from the Box Hill rooms for them. Ben McGlynn will take no further part in the game. He's got a suspected broken jaw. He originally broke it about 6 weeks ago in a clash with Jason Cloak against Williamstown, and he'll also take no further part in the game today.
Bad news for the Hawks because he'd been good in the first half. All right, away we go now. We see Batchelor just trying to weave his way in out of trouble. Robinson out wide to Beams on his wrong side. Right foot Ben Beams. This time missing to the far side, Benny Beams. So
this is first behind of the game, 2 goals, 1. He's shaped certainly as the most dangerous forward for the Tassie Devils, and I know Andy Collins would have been very, very strong on Stephen Green not to give him any space at all. They've gone the huddle here, Hawks.
So Rudolph was the one who broke, and he kicked to space, and instead of the Hawks running on, Gapin read it better, and Matthew Gapin wrapped up strongly in the tackle by Andrew Jansen, and again he's been pinged, Matthew Gapin, so just didn't seem to make the extra effort to get rid of it, but
he was left alone. He really didn't have anyone to get it to. Obviously enough, it wasn't a first give there for him.
So Jansen went short to Howard, who is a polished left foot kick, and this one is no exception. Long across the back street, lefties direct. I think it might have been Kirkby, and again, so Rory Kirkby just waltzed into an easy goal on his left foot. So
bad decision making, 2 bad decisions. One, the punch, had to be long and hard, but hitting it into the middle of the ground. I don't know whether he had a lot of choice in the end, but watch from the pack. I'm not certain who gets, well, we just see the goal, but from the pack, the punch on it came from Nathan Street and hit it back into the middle of the field, player alone. That's exactly the wrong position. Well, that's the position you don't want it when you're defending. You do want it when you're attacking.
So the Hawks out by 12. Got the first goal of the third term. Millwood got his hands to it again. Beams through the middle. Now with a little bit of space. Plapp again's got 3 to beat. Had to come from behind. In front was Rudolph. Atkin. Good attack on the contest. Back to goal. Hit and hope. Lonigan just nudged out of it by Scott. Rudolph, the defensive punch was enough to get it through as Height sees it safely home. The Hawks are pushing back in numbers. Breeze, just a little chip, finds Green. Squares it up again. Rudolph, who started in the back half this term. A long kick, and it was good to centre wing. And he's found his teammate in Murphy.
Okay, good use for the footy by the Hawks as Murphy goes long there. Grimer's got the job down there on Alloway now. Kirkby, who kicked the last goal for the Hawks, and Peyton all trying to wrap up Luke Shackleton there, who's always strong in the body with those thick set legs that give him all the power and strength that we've been accustomed to seeing over the last couple of years. His career's developed, Luke Shackleton. Umpire Stewart bounces down. Millwood got over the top. So Nathan Henley on the ground for some game time, wrapped up by Simon Peyton, and he's going nowhere. So, as we always say, Matthew Armstrong not scared to ring the changes, and he's not only keeping you guessing, he's making sure there's petrol left in the tank. And this could be one of those games where the midfield can run on strong. So Ronaldson, left-handed knock. Beams, who's starting to make his mark on this game, Ben Beams. It's normally a beautiful left foot kick. Plapp's going to hit the ball hard. Justin Plapp with those ever safe, sure hands, Justin Plapp, and that ever reliable left foot of Benny Beams. We've seen a great passage of play.
Hasn't he been the key player, Benny Beams? Just every time he gets the ball, something's going to happen, either a goal or a set up for a goal. Just pace and skill.
Some of the best form I've seen Ben Beams in this year today, I think. Justin Plapp, who has been a fantastic recruit for the Devils in his second year, will kick from about 48 metres and normally is a beautiful exponent of the drop punt.
Great kick. Kicked it at the left hand, just the left-hand side, the left-hand goal post, knew the wind. This is where they train. This is their home ground. Who knows how much longer, but certainly the home ground at the moment. Great result from Justin Plapp, and much needed, obviously. And they stay within that, just around the goal, 1 goal, 5-point mark.
I think it's exactly 1 goal. 5 points it is. 5 points. You were spot on, Benno. I'm sorry. Just a beautiful kick from Justin Plapp. Ronaldson, favoured by the bounce. Hazelwood was behind. Might spill from him. Miller overruns it. And overrunning it again. That's holding the ball, has been in the past, but not this time. Atkin
gone out of it, Harry Miller. He looked very dangerous early on. We hardly called him in the second quarter.
So on centre wing, just in front of the George Miller stand. Ronaldson against Millwood. Gapin sharked it nicely. Fat side, Gapin again, Plapp again, got his hands to it. Lonigan bursting his way through. Great handball, Grimer for number 2. They're back in front.
That was fantastic. Who was that through?
Lonigan.
Lonigan, just tough, hard. Captain the Mariners under the under-18 side, who did so well and won the National Second Division Championship, where he made All-Australian, and this is what he's good at. Matty Gapin's had a good few minutes. Look at this, just great, just determination, strength, grit, grime, and the key part in that is he got his hands clear. He didn't allow the ball to be pinned to his body. Just terrific. Todd Grimer kicked the first goal of the game for the Devils way back at the start of the first quarter, and I was going to criticise him for not running straight.
I was going to say.
He added to the degree of difficulty, but it doesn't matter. It's a goal. They're back in front.
So great stuff from the Devils as Ronaldson got up early. and used Millwood as a springboard. Ground level work. Scotty Stevens working hard for the Devils, and he adds a bit of toughness. Ronaldson just tried to get boot for ball. Play on's a call. Gapin on his knees. Shackleton round the back to Atkin. Now he goes over the top to Kenny Hall. So the Devils starting to move the ball well. Beams, the skipper. The inspirational skipper, Benny Beams. 2 bounces, now he goes long. The target could be, no, Benny Beams, he holds on. He could go all the way. Beams, he doesn't this time.
Well, again, they won it in the middle. They've been better in the contest. And I think Box Hill held the edge there for much of that second quarter, certainly, but that centre break was just a bit of grit and in and under hard work. And if you give Beams a bit of space, normally he's going to hurt you. 2 goals, 2, I think, Benny Beams now. 2 points in the third quarter.
So Daniel Brees will kick out from fullback. Dangerous play. It's Kurt Hazelwood just going to make it. Oh, that was a mark umpire. He didn't pay it. Whew. Jansen just squares off from half-back. Ronaldson should take an uncontested chest mark for the Devils.
Not that we're barracking, but Ronaldson goes inside 50. Lonigan, Grimer's in front. At ground levels, Callanan. Beams just nearly squeezed out his way. Height just didn't want to get rid of it, but the umpire was on the blind side.
Give him some credit. He got a very important hand on the ball there. Just very nearly spilled out to Callan. He's been very good, Kirsten Height.
Oh, he's done a
very
great
good job. Yeah.
Kristen Height, accolades coming his way. Ronaldson got it into the corridor. Robinson, clever. Clinton Brown just came off the side of the boot. Grimer couldn't quite drag it down. Box Hill Hawks under pressure. Green stood up well. Handball a little astray. Brown. Green goes again. That was good. Got it to Neville, to Miller. Brown again for the third contest in as many minutes, or as many seconds basically. Now he might be held in. The umpire said no.
And the heats up. Intensity of the game's kicked along. Box Hill Hawks know now they've got to hold on. A bit of momentum have the Tassie Devils. Box Hill Hawks have to hang in there.
So just in front of the scoreboard as Ronaldson goes head-to-head with Rinaldi again at the back. Hazelwood got it out on his left side. Foot race. Wrapped up in the tackle was Batchelor by Callan, and loose ball. Robinson spinning out of traffic. Gapin, who's been good in the third quarter, as Andy Bennett said, Beams could have been held. Platt was a leaper and right over the back was Luke Brennan with the mark of the day. That was sensational, Luke Brennan. And we'll get to see some of that later as Brennan just laid it out wide to Matthew Ball. To Payton. To Batchelor, had come inside, needed to get rid of it. Poor play. Lonigan just got boot to ball. Atkins going to have to fly hard from behind. He did well, spoiled what could have been a contest easily taken by Simon Payton. So nice and hot in the kitchen, Andy Bennett.
The advantage of Benny Atkin will be up in the forward lane. He may not get a lot of kicks, but he'll know at least you'll get a huge contest. He'll work like mad to do that.
Just taken off the ball. Number 13 has felled Clinton Brown. I didn't see it, but all I saw was Brown go down. It was against Batchelor, Trevor Batchelor. The umpire's cleared the path for Platt to run into. Just falls a little short. Luke Brennan from behind. Gapin. Good hands from Scott. Back to goal. Ronaldo was clever. Green. Equally. To centre wing. Kenny Hall got his hand to it. Brought his opponent to ground. Callanan just had no space to work, but somehow got his foot to it. 3-on-1. Atkin was in front, provided the contest. Brown to Atkin, just in a bit of space. Brown was taken off. Platt might let it go. Ronaldson, Platt, good grab. Had eyes for it.
Clinton Brown's been terrific in the first. He's not a great kick. It's the one little bit he hasn't got in his game, but gee, has a dip under pressure. He gets a lot of hard ball. He rarely wins a ball out in the open, but he does in the clutches. Second goal of the quarter for Justin Platt, and they lifted a notch. Well, no, they've lifted 2 notches, the Tassie Devils. Second goal for Justin Platt in the quarter, and watch this. Benny Atkins came off. It's just good hard work again. Clinton Brown winning some hard stuff in there.
I think just the restructure Benno's worked well with Savage at focal point. You kick the ball, you get players underneath. It's pretty basic stuff.
Yeah, what it also does, you're right, Josh Firth, too good off as help, but what also it's done, it's enlivened those guys who have an ordinary days. It gives them another shot in another way. They're out of that rut they were in.
It's a great coaching from Andy Bennett. Neville to Miller. Now he runs his way, slicing his way through North Hobart Oval. Harry Miller, left foot, just dribbles it forward. Running back is Luke Shackleton. And this time he'll get it. Just puts it inside play and manages to keep the ball alive, but a poor kick from Luke Shackleton found Thomas Murphy.
And the decision was right. It was just a bad kick. You know, he had a player, just didn't kick it far enough.
So you see Shackleton just coming back into the play, so there he did that well, and that kick was just too lackadaisical as Murphy just lays inside.
Just poor.
The 20-metre short pass to Alistair Neville. So bad signs in terms of checking and discipline. Alistair Neville will line up for goal from about 40 metres. And from what I've seen of him, he looks a fairly good kick today. So that has just missed. Again, I'm not going to say that anymore today, Chris Smythe. That is...
Well, he didn't read the topography again. That was the problem.
Apparently.
We need to give these guys a map.
Well, Benny Beans has been kicking beautifully all day. Little chip to the pocket. Finds Street. Over the top. Gapin. Along centre wing. Contest is made for Ronaldson. Scott was taken out of it. He'll get a free.
He's been quite good, Doug Scott.
They're quickly on with play. Howard. Open goal. He's made them pay. They just didn't clear the ball. And Howard has put Box Hill back to within 1 point.
Yeah, just the kicking wasn't convincing, was it? Or the use of the ball after the kicking from the Tassie Devils. And that was fair enough. The free kick was there. It was just play on. Runs inside 50, kicks from 48. And good long shot on goal. Lots of goal kickers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 goal kickers, and they've only kicked 9 goals.
So 62-61, can't get any closer than that as we tick over 14 minutes into the third quarter at North Hobart. Rinaldi, Gapin, no free kick. Ronaldson working hard at ground level for a tall ruckman, as he always does, and last man off the bottom. So that's good signs for Travis Ronaldson with his endeavour. Restart again as Ronaldson hangs well. Miller got first kick from the contest and the stoppage there. Strong play. Henley out wide. Alloway just shrugged off his direct with a left arm push. One-on-one contest down the back. Gapin on Murphy. Didn't take the mark, and Murphy...
free kick.
Sorry, Harvey it was. Free kick has been paid to Brett Gapin, who's had a job to do today.
I thought Armstrong might have been tempted to push him forward as well, because he's a good marking option as well as clever and smart, but he's done very well back in defence, so it's robbing Peter to pay Paul to some degree.
So he went out wide and found Nathan Grimer, so just slowing things down a little bit. Grimer, now he's been called to play on. Kicks as high as what he does long, sets Atkin and Gapin a task, but there's the skipper, front and square, where all good small players should be. Plapp's going to come late on the scene. In heart of the contest, with fantastic work, was Brennan for the Hawks, wrapped up by Hazelwood and Callanan.
Brennan was terrific, you're right.
And that man that my colleagues mentioned, Kristen Hyde, has just done a fantastic job on one of the premier players in the competition, Chris.
His kick wasn't quite as good as the rest of his game today. And the ball ends up with Gapin. He's got to come back around a little. Bring it back just to centre wing. Gapin's 2 kicks out.
Markham Johnson's come onto the ground, into the ruck. Travis Ronaldson's been brought to the bench.
He's worked hard, Ronaldson. It'll be Gapin. They've flooded back. There's one player, or one set of players behind the ball as Gapin goes long. It's been touched, so no mark. We paid. Grimer just got to get it out to Callanan. Hazelwood across the body at the back. Lonigan just didn't quite sit for him. And it's deep in the Devils' attacking zone.
Brett Robinson's also come off for a breather, rotating heavily through the midfield. I'm not certain who came in that stage. Hazelwood, I think.
Johnson, Platt was there, brought it to ground. It was Brennan in the end who just pumped it clear outside 50, and a bit of relief for the Hawks.
You can see how highly they regard Justin Platt. When Thurgood wasn't available, he's gone to his next best player. Brennan's a good player. He's played a lot of, well, not a lot, but he's going to be a good AFL player, I would guess. He played AFL for Hawthorn last week. played 20-odd games or so now, and he's slipped him back to effectively full back.
Just on 50, Johnson against Rinaldi. Setchell, who might have spent some time on the bench as well, just all wrapped up the defensive side. The Hawks just trying to hang in there.
There's Alistair Neville on screen. He's had a good game today. So, two Giants contest against each other. Brendan Rinaldi's 198 and Marcus Johnson is 205, I think, if I'm right there. So, Miller with his direct Stevens. Good pace from Miller. Quick hands to height, inside. Great smother on Rinaldi by Hazelwood. His fourth turnover. Callanan, as he always does, working hard in close. Couldn't get it out. Henley, taken high, no free kick. Hazelwood, Henson in there, nothing happening. And umpires picked one out, and in the end it was Ben Setchell who was awarded the free kick. So, tight in close stuff now. Setchell misses Callanan now. He went there and he wasn't there, so Callanan tries to take his direct off the ball in ball. So nothing really happening. Callanan needs to make up for that one. Johnson and Rinaldi, the two Giants, working hard against each other. Both go to ground. The land of the Giants there.
Well, there wasn't anything pretty about it, but it was enthralling contest. Ian Callanan just lifted his eyes for a moment. The decision to handball was probably right, but Ian Callanan just decided Setchell's wasn't. Setchell's doesn't kick it very far.
No, I think he just expected it earlier. The handball came later than he thought.
Yeah. So Johnson, Beams, just kept the ball alive. I'm not sure if it travelled the required distance. A good mark was taken, and it was.
Yeah, it's Ball, isn't it?
Yeah, it was taken by Matthew Ball. So courageous mark, running back with the flight of play. So Matthew Ball. Drop punt about 45 metres, picked out Johnson and actually just went directly to him, I think, in the end. So it's a bad turnover.
But he's improved. In the first couple of games of this year, he would have got all nervous and worried about catching that.
Just offloaded straight away and gave it to Grimer, so kicks to the hot spot, and again at the back, taking a strong mark was Luke Brennan.
And he's beginning to dominate back here.
He switches. Ivanovic was the target. Lonergan, Ivanovic might make up for it. Kept it in play, wanted to give it to Lonergan. The numbers favour the Hawks. One of them was Green, can go over the top. The umpire spotted a free. In fact, it was out of play when Green went over the top. There's not much in this contest. It's again on centre wing. Just starting to get a little darker here at North Hobart. Setchell. Howard hit the boundary umpire.
It's out on the full, isn't it? It's kicked him on the ankle. It's hit him on the full.
I think it hit the boundary umpire.
Yeah, yeah, so it has to be out of bounds on the full, doesn't it? Logically.
There is some logic to your argument, Ben.
Well, if he's in the right spot, he's over the line. So. Whatever. Throw it in.
And he did. Johnson at the back, Rinaldi at the front. Miller just nearly went with it. Setchell just burrowing his head down there. Wants to get it to Hazelwood, got it to Callanan. Now, can he slip the tackle? Hazelwood had to kick it quickly, and the smother was good. Just
it's tightened up again. No, that balance between open football and contest has gone out. It's all contest. Well, with 1 point in it, why would you expect to be any different?
Johnson again working with Rinaldi, and nothing happening there. So ticking over into 21 minutes into the third quarter in a very, very tight game where both teams really have their seasons on the line. So Johnson, who's been good, and that was a great knock to Shackleton, tried to free his hands. Ball, who's been very, very good. Setchell went to ground and taken. Could have been pinged for holding the ball. As we see something off the ball, Chris Smythe points it out.
Shackleton and
Payton.
A little bit of a weight advantage. Luke Shackleton there. With Simon Payton, I'd make a smarter decision. He's trying to fight above his weight there.
So just a lot of one-on-one contests all around the ground, and you can see around that stoppage there that every player has an accountable direct player. Kenny Hall went over the footy nice and strongly, and he was wrapped up and sat on and sandwiched by about 4 Hawks in the end. So certainly plenty of commitment. Matthew Ball, who we mentioned has been really good today. Not sure if there's a blood rule there.
The umpire said no, we'll start it. Umpire Russell Giddis. Just slightly the attacking side of centre field for the Devils. Just a big pack of players around the ball. Just every contest. Atkin, he's in there with Batchelor. The umpire spotted the free, was always going to. It'll go to the Devils' way. It'll go to Clinton Brown, who's been pretty busy this term. He wants to dish it off. He did to Shackleton. The kick's a good one. Benny Beans with pace and courage.
Great courage, and that's where you get hurt, because you're completely open. It's no one's fault, but
he's up.
He's up. Stephen Green's been terrific. He's played a really good game, but so has Beams. It's just been, that's a wonderful contest. You know, Green's done some really good things, but Beams still shapes as the match winner. 14 possessions.
2 goals.
2 goals against a really good player, Stephen Green.
And it might be number 3. From right on 50, Benny Beams. He has a good kicking style.
Just magnificent.
It's beautiful to watch, isn't it?
Magnificent.
Yeah, just went dead straight. I think the wind, you could hear from Alistair, but from where I'm sitting, the wind may have died down a bit. 3 goals. He's had 5 shots on goal. Benny Beams, 14 possessions.
Looks like the wind has dropped off, boys. It's in the first quarter, the ball being kicked from that zone would have drifted right away to the right-hand side. But as you saw, Benny Beams' kick held its line then and went straight through. So the Devils, here we go.
The Devils now set up in the middle with Luke Shackleton, who's been playing largely off half-back. I think he's been in there for the last couple. He's been in for the last couple.
Back live is Johnson and Setchell. So they have a second and third tier midfield, the Devils, and I reckon that could be the difference in the end. Hall, who's another one of those players, taken high.
Yeah. And he could, we know he has the ability to kick it from here.
Andy, so many players who can come through on the footy now. Hazelwood, Hall, Callanan, Beams, Gapins. As he goes to Callanan, Callanan's going to have to come from behind Stephen. Ground level, Hazelwood. Good contest, loose ball. Height, who's there with his direct opponent, Callanan. So the heat's on. Batchelor comes back. Great smother by the skipper, Benny Beams. He just needs to get boot for ball. Check side, left foot. He's done it. Benny Beams.
The day out. Great smother. Great smother. Fantastic stuff. Smother. Stephen Green lost him in the turnover. Watch this. And the recovery was great. Well, nearly slept on the outside of the foot. I hope we get to see that smother again. That's the stuff that really inspires teammates. And to kick a goal on the top was just fantastic. Captain's game. Follow me, he says.
And they're pretty happy. They've skipped away 13 points. It was all wrapped up with 1 point between them for about 5 or 6 minutes. 2 goals in just the 1 minute, both from the captain Beams. And the Devils just with a little break. Johnson, Setchell, all wrapped up.
Setchell's important because he gets the ball so often in packs. He doesn't use it so well, but at least...
I reckon he gets it first.
Yes.
So then they've actually got to get it off him, Andy, which is really important. Yeah.
Exactly the point, yeah. There's no clean break.
Ronaldo, Johnson slipped. Shackleton, nicely trapped by Street, just gave it to him. Oh, going the wrong way now. Opportunity for Neville. Brown, shoveled it out. Street just had a little bit of time. He found Hall with a bit of space. Can kick it long. The Shepherd was good. It came from Hazelwood. Callanan made the contest. Back to goal. Batchelor, trouble. Beams, taken high.
He was
characteristic trademark.
You could have. Blind Freddie would have been had a call that he was going to get too high in that.
Ben, I just want, if it does come up on the tape, to see the tackle that Ian Callanan put on. It was magnificent. And I think that just allowed that ball to stay in there. So,
and it's some tackling back in the midfield.
Just here you'll see, just wraps him up, holds him, brings him down.
Yeah, everything counts in the game, isn't it? Everything counts.
For number 5, Beams. He's on song.
3 in 3 minutes. Ben Beams.
Mate, he is a jet. He is a jet of a footballer.
He's the difference. Yeah. He's just the difference today. The great tackle. It's good to see him reward that, because you're dead right, Andrew. The tackle, everything counts in the game, and it counts all the time. You know, you sort of remember it if only there's a point in it. But no matter what the score is, every little bit of the game counts.
Greg Barnes,
loves Tassie football.
He does.
A lot of Tassie football, Greg Barnes. And he's looking pretty happy.
Why wouldn't he be after the display from the skipper?
Andrew, the reaction of the players on the bench down here was certainly quite amusing. They all had a fair old chuckle when Ben Beams' head rolled back. You see that on so many occasions. Beams, he throws the head back and gets a free kick like that. They were having a good old laugh down there.
Just like roll the tape, Alistair, isn't it? As we see Alistair Neville come back, a namesake there, to Howard, who got a left foot kick, pushed on to Johanovic, who was just so reliable.
He got Alloway now, one-on-one.
I think he's got Thomas Murphy.
Oh, he's got Murphy still, yeah.
So he goes to Shackleton, who just kicks it up in the air a little bit. So at the back, we see Nathan Henley on his knees. Now, Scotty Stevens got to show some pace and run to the contest. Kept his head over the ball, was good again. Strong work from Stevens. Hazelwood had his body, and so Lonergan got it out. Stevens missed the intercept there as we see the contest.
Come back.
Come back
to Hazelwood, is it? Or?
Yeah, you're right there, Andy Bennett, Kurt Hazelwood. So
got one too high, I think, somewhere in the traffic.
His mark today, the chances that he's got goes short with probably not a kick that I don't think was meant. There it is, the skip around the back. Beams, spots up Callanan. He won't get it on the full. Just sits, props, waits. What's he going to do? Goes outside to Henley on the left side. 45 metres, Nathan Henley, and he's missed everything. I think Callanan was going to hold and come back inside there, wasn't he?
His natural instinct is to do that.
But his opponent just wouldn't let him.
But you see a lot of players lifted around him, lifted around Benny Beams or the Tassie side. They know the moment's come. If they can nail another one, maybe another two, well, that might be the end of the contest.
19 points in it. Brennan switches play, looking for Breeze. With him is Grimer. Tackle was good enough. Did he make the effort? He did, according to the umpire.
I think he just ran out of ground. Got him over the line. Good chase from Grimer, worked hard. It's been pretty good, Grimer, really. Hasn't been spectacular. He's kicked his 2 goals, but off at the contest.
Johnson, the umpire, spotted the free.
Well, he's been real good. Because he just...
Breeze and he were having a bit of a chat. Rick Fidlow was telling us, and Breeze has ended up giving away the free.
Box Hill have been so good, so disciplined and so tight. Now it's just begin to watch this. Well, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
It's just dumb. Can't think of any other word.
Top of the square, Lonergan got his foot to it. The ball's still alive. 3-on-1. Stevens has got 3 to beat. Alistair got it to Miller. Good kick along the boundary side. Finds Millwood. The handball came from Brennan. Payton takes the mark in front of Jovanovic. Still on just the defensive side of centre wing for the Hawks. Told to hurry up. Just chips it up. Grimer. Green. Street was in hard. Good contest.
Benny Beams coming off for a breather. Smart bit of coaching. Just give him an extra little bit of time.
Just noting too, Andy, I think Tristan Hyde, who had the job on Callanan, had to go to Beams, and so a good move from Armstrong taking Beams off, and we'll see the swap again. Hyde to Callanan, and Batchelor goes to Gape, and so bringing around the rosy here by both coaches. Setchell, again, as we mentioned, always gets the first touch on the footy from the stoppage. Stevens working hard with Simon Payton as the 3/4 siren time rings. So we'll just tick the piece over 30 minutes there, and we see the Devils 12-8-80, leading the Hawks 9-7-61, Chris.
6 goals to the Devils that term, to 2 for the Hawks.
6-2. Broke open. We talked, I hope we talked about early on that Box Hill Hawks have been really very good at containing the good players from Tasmania. One of those, Benny Beams, who still loomed dangerous in the first half, but he was just fantastic. Benny Beams quarter.
At 3/4 time, it's the Tassie Devils by 19, 12-8-80 to 9-7-61. They're a pumped-up crowd here at North Hobart, and Alistair, you look pretty pumped up without a boundary line as well.
I'm excited. I'm big Kev excited. No, the crowd's fantastic down here. We've got the figure through. It's over 5,500, so that could almost be a record here at North Hobart Oval, I reckon. I went and had a listen to Matthew Armstrong at the 3/4 time huddle. Didn't have too much to say, just praised his players for a good quarter. Wants more of the same in the last quarter. Wants them to run over the top of Box Hill and really create what would be a great win and set them off towards what would be a great start to their finals campaign.
Thank you, Alison. I think it might be if they get up here, they'd have to sort of pencil themselves in for a finals.
But they need one more. Yep. They need one more after this, but I don't think there's a danger. This is a good, mature group of players. They're thinking of that already. they've got to put their head down and win the last quarter. Box Hill aren't going to roll over.
No.
Because they're in the same spot. If they don't win today, they're going out backwards because they've only got 2 games out of the 3 to play. They've got the bye. Remember, we mentioned that early on. So I don't think Andy Collins is going to let his players lay down. That's not the nature of that beast.
Over 5,500. Terrific crowd.
Yeah, terrific.
It's just awesome, and I think the debate about where football should be played down south will probably even be stronger next week, Andy, won't it?
Well, so, maybe a whole lot of people have come along because they think this might be the last time the Devils play here. Who knows what the sentiment would have been in the crowd. But they've consistently pulled to heaven, 3,500. And who wouldn't come on the back of 5 wins? If you're a football supporter in Tassie or in Hobart, it's a great place to be this afternoon.
Can they make it 6, Benno?
Oh, I think from here, you'd almost say they should. I think they've got plenty of legs left. They've rotated their midfield. Box Hill Hawks are down 2 because of injury. Tassie are at home. They know the ground, all those things. The portents are pretty strong the Tassie way. But, Box Hill, as I said early on, they're not going to roll over. I don't expect them. You expect they're going to go really hard at least early on. If Tassie can kick 1 or 2 goals early, then maybe we'll see Box Hill's resolve weaken. Yeah.
The local knowledge and plus the fact, that the topography is
It's their
way.
Topography, meteorology,
I think
astrology, the stars, whatever.
Thurgood and McGlynn have...
Yeah, well, Thurgood especially. So they've had to push Brennan back to full back against Plapp. Plapp kicked 2 goals in him. But Brennan's a terrific player and he could play all over the place. But now they respect Plapp so much, Brennan's got to go one-on-one with him.
It's 19 points in it. The Devils will be kicking to the Horry-Gorring stand end for the final term.
Starting with Markham Johnson in the ruck. Ronaldson off the field. Plapp stays at centre half forward. In the centre bounce, Scotty Stevens is tagging Harry Miller. Harry Miller had an impact for just a little while. It was quiet in the second quarter, but Scotty Stevens now giving the job on him. Kenny Hall's back in the middle, and Ben Setchels, as we said, has been very important. A quick rotation then straight away. Nathan Henley, I don't know, Clinton Brown's come off, and Brett Robinson's come back onto the wing.
On to Andrew Jansen, who's 194-centimetre wingman. Robinson's giving away a few centimetres. You can just see them closest to camera. The Devils, maybe for the last time at North Hobart. Final term, 19 points up. The winner of this will just pencil the name in for the finals in 2005. The Hawks, just outside 50. Street just stood at the front of the pack. Hurried kick. Clever work from Lonigan. Just kept enough of the ball. Taken to the tackle was good. That came from Breeze. Grimer just had a little bit of space. Gave it to himself. Too long for Beams. Atkin, good hands. And plays on. And...
Why play on?
He's a better kick on the run.
Yeah, confidence, yeah. Yeah, mate, you're right.
That was a super play, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was terrific. It was good from Grimer. His recovery.
Did you see the Shepherd too, Bernard?
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
He's had a good game.
Yep. He's a talent, I'd say, for sure.
Yeah.
Had an exceptional carnival in the under-18.
Yeah, All-Australian.
National, so well done there. Hide at the back of the pack now. Ben Beams has had a day out today. Beams, strong body contact. Scott, Setchell, quick hands. Just heard the call from Beams, so that's great. Beams to Plapp, who just ran through a bit of a dummy lead, I think, in the end there. Hazelwood, round the body. In the hot spot, Kenny Hall picks up cleanly. Now he goes left side. Beautiful evasive skills, Kenny Hall.
Drifted. And I think, who was that in the goal square? Just about Benny Atkin maybe could have marked it. A little bit of razzle-dazzle from Kenny Hall, but I didn't think a lot of commitment in the Box Hill Hawks tackler, whoever it was trying to track him.
2 points to Tassie. Just still some nervous onlookers here at North Hobart. Box Hill Hawks come away with it. Ball's got it. Goes to centre wing. Callanan nearly ran him down in the end. Forced the turnover at Shackleton.
Been good.
Standing kick. He's had 19 possessions. And Plapp. I think he's all right.
Yeah, there's no intent in that. The good part about that, whoever it was that pushed him, I think it was Brennan. As you can see, there was immediately a little bit of remorse. Watch this. Well, it's just accident. Yeah. Good sportsmanship. Or sports personship, if you like.
And he's been given a 50.
Has he?
Yeah, Plapp's got a 50.
Unlucky. I feel for Brennan in there. He just stumbled. Yeah.
It's a big price to pay.
Yeah, that's reacting to the outcome. If that was in the middle of the ground, I doubt there would have been a 50 given for that. It's just happened to whack his head on the fence.
Perhaps that's why they're moving to Belrive. Just a bit more space for this standard of competition. Plapp's got it. And for goal number 3, and this will make it tricky for the Hawks if he gets it. Plapp. He's pushed it. 3 behinds for the Devils.
They can't administer the final blow here. 3 points in, what, with 3 minutes in. Half a goal. That's the glass half full or half empty. Rick Finley tells me that's half a goal.
So we see Scott kicking out. He's found Sam Lonigan, who's been impressive with a couple of...
Yeah.
Just really raw-faced teenager. Goes to Platt. The back, we saw Brennan get a spoil on.
You can see that Justin Plapp isn't 100%, is he? I mean, he has to really run, and that last little bit of acceleration, normally at his best he would have got there clearly, but he just hasn't quite got the acceleration, carrying that little bit of hamstring comeback injury.
So Johnson goes up against Millwood. Just a quick kick. Callanan was going nowhere, and he's been paid. The mark he was paid, was he, Chris?
Oh, it should be. Hazelwood kicked that ball in mid-air.
It was a kick, yeah.
Hazelwood kicked it, and that's somehow Callanan has marked it.
Did it go 15?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I was just watching on the closed screen here, so it certainly was a kick and mark, yeah. Set play, they practiced that.
So we see Benny Atkin on screen, and he looks angry as Ian Callanan's taken.
That's his game face, Benny Atkin. He really has one.
Just one of Ian Callanan's tricks, and he has got a big bag, hasn't he? Like, nice rinse in the hair just to try and attract those talent scouts from the AFL. Ian Callanan, quite by his standards, but
he's had his moments.
As he does, and he'll kick from about 50, 48, 47 metres. Callanan drop punt on its way. It looks good off the boot. The crowd signals. Callanan signals. Setchell singles. The Devils are up.
That's 4 shots on goal in just under 5 minutes. So they've really dominated, and the signs aren't good for Box Hill at all. They aren't winning enough of the ball. I don't think they quite now have the cattle, or perhaps now the belief, to get themselves over the line, which is against what is now a pretty good Box Hill, a pretty good Tasmanian Devils side. 24 shots to 16. There's lots of stats now saying that the Devils are well on top.
There's 28 points in it. Height across the body, inside 50 for the Hawks. The numbers favour the Devils. Jovanovic was looking for Benny Atkin, but just pushed it too wide.
Wide kick around the corner. He had space, maybe not enough torque. Could have straightened up. Unlike Matthew Jovanovic, usually plays the odds very, very well.
Stephen Green just been brought back around by umpire Stewart. Green just looking for some options. Alloway's down there, goes longer than he. At the back, opportunity. Jovanovic just stood in standing start. Shackleton couldn't quite drag it down. Good tackle. That's holding the ball.
It's the perfect tackle, isn't it, when you can just pin one up. There's a bit of luck in it, but it's the right one.
He had the strength to hang on, and trying to wheel his way out was Alloway. Look at it, just...
Watch it, he got his out. What? It's a horrible moment if you're the guy with the ball.
Shackleton was told to play on, and in the end he went to Benny Atkin, and Matthew Bull just beat him in the one-on-one contest. But a poor kick from Bull. Kenny Hall gets rid of it. Strength in the tackle. Stood up. Here's another player strong. Shackleton. Short pass was good and found Grimer. So the Devils just seem to be rolling along. Grimer goes towards Plapp at centre-half forward. He just couldn't get out in front, as Andy mentioned, might be carrying. Stevens in hard. Setchell at ground level. Went nice and strong. No free kick.
And Benny Beams is lurking. If Tassie just could have forced it forward. But you can clearly see again, couldn't you, Justin Plapp, he started in front, got run down because he just couldn't accelerate.
So Ben Settle, who's played a good role today, coming off the bench and rotating, just winning first hands all the time. Millwood. Green, who's been moved off beams and onto the footy to try and generate some run and some drive for the Hawks.
Alistair, notice the Hawks making a lot of changes down there on the bench. Jolly's come back off.
Yeah, I think they're going to run out of elastoplast down there on the bench. They're down to 2 men, so you'd have to be making a few changes when you know, 28 points down at this stage of the last quarter.
It's difficult to see what he can do that's going to be much different now. He really doesn't have the flexibility he needs.
The doctor talking to Jolly there.
Atkin goes round the body to the top of the square. Big mark taken at the back, and Brennan, who's been good in the aerial duels today, taking a big catch at the back of the pack, which was no doubt the most spectacular of those, but would have taken 5 or 6 other marks.
He was taken number 8 in a draft pick in 2002, so that's, you know, top 10 draft pick. There's some quality there.
Let himself down with the kick and the execution. Took a great man there. Setchell's going to go back to Callanan. It's a set play, and Callanan makes one of his rare mistakes. We're allowed to let him just make one mistake, Andy Bennett.
God, the hell will freeze over.
He's running too fast.
God, I'm not game to go out tonight.
Scott, he's got to be brought back around. The Hawks now just finding run from the back half more difficult. They've been a bit under siege in the first 8.5 minutes. Scott decides to go long to centre wing. Opportunity for Murphy at the back. Nearly taken by
too high.
The umpire said it's a free.
Yeah, for the fend off it was too high.
We'll go to Street. We go with the Hall. It's normally a good kick. He just sets it up at the back.
Young man. You dream of it. Look, he's just sitting on it. Beautiful. Showing there's other ways to get the ball than in the pack, because that's where he gets them. He's a good in and under player. And I don't think I've seen him take a mark. I've seen him play a lot, Sam Lonergan. Fantastic for the side and for him if he could finish this. Nothing like your young tyros, your young champions standing up.
He's set up 1 or 2 today. Chance for his own.
Looks good.
He's got it. He's happy.
Gee.
Well, I think they're home.
Yeah. Yes. I think they are. And a good way to get home on the back of an 18-year-old, 17-year-old All-Australian.
Not taking too many risks, Mike. You're 28 points up and you're saying you think they're home.
That's a great mark. That'll go in his highlights package.
They're 34. That's why I'm more confident.
They've done well.
Couldn't imagine.
That's a silly story. They've obviously done, but Box Hill Hawks have given it everything. They've really played very well for the first half of this game, but they just couldn't keep it up for the entire run.
Johnson again. So the Devils start to kick away. Kenny Hall just managed to get his boot onto the ball. Hazelwood's going to come in and fly, but Trevor Batchelor, who's been a bit of an antagonist today and upset a couple of the Devils midfielders. Hazelwood, Jansen and Neville in there, I think it was. So we can hear the crowd starting to get behind the Devils as they storm for their 6th straight consecutive victory to take them all the way to the finals.
We've got to win one more. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Setchell again, as we talked about. Street has been good today. Back to Robinson, who spent some time on the bench, might be carrying. Taken high.
Done.
Todd Grimer took his direct opponent in Rory Kirkby high, so Kirkby, now he comes grandstand or out of grandstand side. Shackleton. Ball, who's a precision player. Great leap from the back gape, and front and square was Alloway. Now there's a race. Contest. Johanovic goes back with class and poise.
There would have been a free in it anyway. The umpire indicated he's been grabbed.
Sticky fingers for Jovanovic. He's got to come back around. He was looking to get it to Stevens. Callanan's in short. He goes to the opposite side. Setchell against height. Just they ran out of room. Still got about 13, 14 minutes of this game to go at least. Percentage could be important for the Devils. They just, if they can keep breaking open Box Hill Hawks through the middle. Alloway's got to go for it. Shackleton got a good bounce. Kept his vision, kept his hand. Setchell needs support. He's got it through Grimer. Just standing, start and deliver. Plapp at the back, Beams at the front. Not paid in the end. Bursting through was Benny Atkin. Just stole the ball. Working hard was Neville, Alistair Neville, he got it out to Howard, whose kick was run down by Ken Hall, and just things starting to slip a little for the Hawks.
Great tackle, great contest from Benny Atkins.
And Benno, the role that Ben Atkins played, you hit it right on the head when you said just to provide the contest and lock the ball in and put his body on. And look, he's made the spillages just because of his hard work.
Yeah.
So Height just found it back to Batchelor. Now Grimers in a contest with Alloway and did well. He's been very impressive.
He's had a good year, hasn't he? He's improved.
Out to space. Now, speedsters required. Brett Robinson's one of them. He's going to gape and comes in and Shepherd's green, which was good. Robinson holds his balance well, but the line was just a bit too close for Brett Robinson, who is an impressive young player from the northwest coast of Tasmania.
On centre wing, Johnson. And now he got it down, Robinson. This time he keeps it in. Good looking kick around the body. At the back was Neville, Alistair Neville. He squares it up quickly. Green now in some space. Chance for Box Hill Hawks to get one back. Green, Alloway goes for the lead. Murphy went one way, Miller's with him. Working hard was Henley. Ivanovic happy to concede.
So we see Matthew Gapin coming on.
And Stephen Green is stuffed, to use the vernacular. He's a great endurance athlete. I know it's in the blood in that family. He's worked really hard, but he just could hardly kick the ball in the end there.
So Kenny Hall kicks to himself and gains some distance. Johnson is starting to look more and more impressive as the game goes on. Andy, isn't he, Johnson?
Yeah. Good signs.
Centre half back. Long and strong and direct was Grimer, was it? Well, he's a talent. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Todd Grimer, 18 years of age, on the big stage in Tasmania. Goes long and direct. Power kick down towards Atkin at the back. He stood down and Platt was there as well. But Rudolph just pushed it through from behind.
And there's not much Box Hill Hawks can do here. They just can't see a rush coming from anywhere, particularly when a player like Green you'd think might lead a revival if they're going to have one, but looks to me like he's just about spent all he's got. He's been very good all day too, Matthew Ball, I think.
He's at half back. He's told to move it on. There's no real run from the Hawks just right at the present. Atkins going to be in front. Big pack of players. Good grab in the end. That came from Daniel Breeze. Just jumped up high. Held himself there. He goes to the pocket. Murphy, Gapin, Miller at the back. Jolly at ground level. Setchell just gave it to Stevens, who kept it in, only as far as Howard, who took it out.
Good result. Quite a skilled kick from Scotty Stevens. Just picked up that 10 or 15 metres. Done a pretty good job on Harry Miller, Scotty Stevens.
34 points in it, ball. The Height, in fact, got it from Rinaldi. Grimer just worked hard enough to give it to Callanan. On the overlap of Street, can give it back. He did. Callanan now. The kick is normally good. Platt's got a stretch.
Yeah.
Working with him is Hazelwood. Platt kept it in. Good use of the body and nice foot skills to Benny Beans, who had a blistering third term.
Lots of chances of him running out and opening up the goals on his left side, Andy.
Well, it'll be a big one, and he knows the lie of the land here. But he's good enough. He's actually, he kicks the ball straight, and he's good enough not to have to do that.
Just don't worry about the topography, okay? He's got it. That's a terrific kick. That is just magic.
That's just home ground advantage, that is.
That's just skill. That's a lot of skill. That's 6. He's had 8 shots on goals, kicked 6 goals too. He's the difference. Well, he's not just the difference now because it's opened up, but when it was really tight in there to be
he's the
won,
game breaker, wasn't he?
He's the game breaker, yep. So that's the right term for him. And that was good to see from Justin Platt, because I didn't think he'd been running that freely, in the last little bit, and you're worried, is he going to tear it? I reckon Matty Armstrong will be thinking about, do I need to give Platt a bit of a rest?
I think the thing in that kick to guys was just how confident Beams was, not to try and open up the angle. He just stood there and said, I'll kick this goal.
I know.
So 41 goals for Ben Beams for the season, so fantastic stuff. Kenny Hall has had an impact in the midfield. Just keeps his feet all the time, goes forward. Platt just wrestling with Brennan, who went. Now Hazelwood missed it. Stevens, or Lonergan it was, who went round the body. So
Kenny Hall, go back to Kenny Hall. We haven't called him a lot. We called him when he's been in action, but I don't think any stage today we've said what a good game he's played overall. Yeah. He's kicked an important goal.
Yeah, he's been good.
Very, very good, I reckon.
Just doesn't go to ground, Benno, does he? He holds his feet all the time.
Yeah. Good in the middle. He's been very good out of the middle.
Well, Beams with 41. Oh, here's trouble. Beams might now make it 42. Oh, it's showtime.
Oh, God.
And depending how the other goal kickers have gone, he's now moved into second spot on the VFL goal kicking ladder.
You won't get too many easier than that. But when you're having a day out, you do have days like that where it all falls your way. Yeah, Rick Finlay's just mentioned off air the percentage, because it's so tight. We talked about that group of about six teams in the middle of the pack there. The percentage is almost worth another game with it being so tight. So every little bit counts.
It's number 7 to Beams, and this game is starting to split a little. Johnson got his hand to it. Oh, Callanan came in the blind side of Cam Howard. He had no chance.
You can see in Callanan now is just determined to have an impact on the game. He knows he hasn't been up.
He wants to kick a goal, Benno. That's what he does.
He needs to get on the board, yeah. But you can he's been up. He's been their best player for 6 weeks in a row here now, or probably longer than that. So you can excuse him to have one down.
Hazelwood, Howard, that's going nowhere. The umpire said it might eventually come out, and it did. Grimer, Nathan Grimer, just pushed it to the right. Just the stoppage is going Tassie's way.
He's had 4 or 5 shots on goals, kicked 2. Young 18-year-old, good sign. I was wary saying these things, but because of his performance at the state championships, the national championships, it's unlikely we'll see a lot of him, or it's possible we won't see a lot of him.
Green goes to himself, and Setchell went hard. Atkin harder. Lonigan showed some good signs. Setchell went to ground, wrapped up in the tackle.
You're right, guys.
Sorry, Alistair.
You were right. Justin Plappy's coming off for a rest, so Matthew Armstrong taking no risks with him, and Travis Ronaldson prepares to come onto the ground.
That's why Andy Bennett's our expert coach in the box up here is Justin Plapp. We're just pleased to get through the game. Green getting plenty of the ball. Grimer working hard on Breezy. Grimer.
The other good thing of the future is the confidence that Armstrong has shown to play Markham Johnson effectively as his #1 ruckman for the second half of this game. And Ronaldson's been very, very good for him for a few weeks, so that's great from a development point of view.
Gapin. So here's another contest for the youngster, and he did it well. Did he really do it well or what? Dished it off to Henley, so plenty of game time. Now Beams is going to stand up and just do something magnificent. Inside he goes. Quick boot it was Gapin. Beams has got on the end of it again. Beams will kick his 8th goal for the day. He's let it go. It is. Ben Beams. Oh, happy birthday.
Wrap up the chickens. Picnic time. Fantastic. Fantastic. Got the smothers. Just worked hard in there.
He worked a bit. He worked a bit.
He's up, down, jack in the box. He worked. Gave the hand, did the right thing. The smother from Box Hill Hawks was fantastic in there. You've got to feel for him, but that's one of the standouts. His recovery, his ability to get up and go today is fantastic. This is a guy that played AFL grand final. You know, he's that quality. He's a good player. 6 goals since the 23-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. That's not a bad little finish to the game, is it?
And Stephen Green's not on him. For those who are watching for Box Hill Hawks. It was a good contest early on. Centre wing, Nathan Street. Good pick-up. Clever little handball. Kenny Hall can kick the ball long. Goes to the top of the square. Benny Beams is there as well. At the back was Lonigan. Benny Beams, Hazelwood. Beams on his non-preferred.
Oh, there we go.
Give it to...
Oh, come on, umpire. Just should have done it. He's got no heart, that guy. Drag him.
8 goals, 4 or 3? 8 goals, 4, Rick Finlay tells me. A superhuman effort.
Here we go again for the Hawks as Luke Brennan has been probably their standout defender all day. Atkin.
Now, games like Atkins and Setchell's haven't been out, or Setchell's been probably better than Atkins, but use his game as an example. He's just kept working, kept in there, hanging in there, doing all the right things.
He's a quality player, yeah. There's no doubt about that. Here he goes again, Atkin. Over the top to Stephen. Comes into the square, and there's Lonigan. Are you putting your mark on the game, young man, as well?
Yeah.
Sam Lonigan.
They've just had too much to throw at the Box Hill Hawks in the end. Really, just in their mid-sized sort of players. Lots and lots of them.
And just off camera, the skipper is coming off, and listening to the crowd as Ben Beams comes off the ground, and it's a standing ovation. It's magnificent.
Yeah.
As we see Sam Lonigan on screen, so sorry about that. As here he is on camera, Benny Beams, well done.
Great game.
Lonigan will kick from 25 metres out directly in front. Lonigan off the boot, it looks good, so he's a happy young man as well. Well done, Sam Lonigan, for his second.
Terrific. Terrific. They've got it from everywhere. Captain of the Mariners, All-Australian. It looks like now he's got a real chance to make his mark, stay in this side, and play possibly in his first final series for the VFL, in the VFL side. That's not a bad contribution. And if it's good for him, oh, go home, Greg. Sorry.
It's too easy now, see, Benno, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, they were 7 points down at half-time. They've just blown it all away.
You talk about Lonigan and Grime, their two youngest players. They've stood up in a really important game, a big game. That's that's another tick in their book.
I think it's 62-6 since about the 61. I'll come back to that. It's too complicated, all those maths. As Henley's got it now, top of the square. Savage might get the chance. Oh, now Ronaldson.
They're all joining in.
Lining up.
He replaced Plapp about 2 minutes ago. Drifted to the forward line. And Travis Ronaldson.
I reckon they ought to put Alistair Nicholson on. He might get a goal.
I'm keen, guys. I could go out there. Those Box Hill boys are looking a bit tired.
5 furious minutes, I reckon we get out here.
News from the boundary line is that Brett Robinson has just performed one of the more bizarre things I've ever seen in football. He's been struggling with what they thought was osteitis pubis, a groin injury. He's just put a big bag of ice down his undies, boys.
Thank you, Alistair.
Thank you for that. Can you give us a little report as it goes along? I'm interested to see what happens to his eyes.
You see Murphy. This goes out to Rudolph at halfback. So the game starts to wind down. The Devils have absolutely smashed the Hawks in the last quarter, to use a Matthew Armstrong term. Matthew Johanovic.
Another terrific game. Very solid.
So he goes short. And Hazelwood, who's come back into the team today, and I'm sure he'd be pleased, just as his coach would be with his game. But the back gape, and you paid a free kick away there.
Took the mark anyway.
And Clinton Alloway, the captain, who's fallen away in the second half, as like many of his teammates. Spotted the kick up and found Daniel Breezy on centre wing as we tick over 25.5 minutes into the last quarter. And I'm sure the Hawks would be looking for that siren. Breezy goes long into attack at the back. Grimer just too easy now, and he just dishes off around the back to Callanan.
Well, it's a bit stop-start football from the Hawks right at the very present. Hazelwood got it from Callanan. The run comes through. Callanan again to half forward. Savage. The bounce just a little in front of him. Good pick-up. Chance to wheel and go. Eventually pops it onto his foot. The numbers, the Hawks are flooding back. Green was taken out of the contest, and he'll pick up a free. Callanan wants to get number 2, but it'll come back. And Millwood or Green. Might be Millwood. Little dish to Green. Just again, no real movement for him. Spots up in the end. Andrew Jansen. Jansen will go in the Ronaldo direction. Atkin bursting back.
Push.
The umpire said it was advantage played. Now it's going to come back. Ronaldo will take it. And the Hawks they haven't kicked the goal. They've only kicked 1 point, in fact, since the 23rd minute of the third term. And to say they need one,
it's pointless.
Indeed. Ronaldo from on 50. It's a wobbly old kick. It's got the carry.
Oh.
Good kick in the end. Didn't look that smart off the boot, but Ronaldo's got his first. And the Hawks have kicked.
It's all to no effect now. The game was really, when you cast our eyes back, was that burst from Beams in the third quarter, when it was just on the line for so long, and at various times you got to, it looks all easy now, but this is a very tight game for a very long time.
Benno, can you remember someone having more of an impact in a game today than Ben Beams to kick 8 goals and actually, break?
I just tell a story with Lee Matthews. I was in a game in Melbourne years ago, and he kicked 11 goals in a half and broke Peter Giles' jaw on the way.
Wow. Height just trying to burst his way through. Play on, an advantage is being called. Height goes down forward looking for Rinaldi, so a chance for Rinaldi to kick 2 in 2 minutes.
And this guy looks like he's got a bit of quality as well. He's another one, 198, do we call him? Nearly 200. Good mark. He's from the Bendo, 198. Still looks like he's a youngster. A bit of growth in him. There'll be a bit of interest in him. We've called sung the plaudits sung the praise from Markham Johnson today.
So Rinaldi was not good off the boot, and Hanley can mop up for the Devils off halfback. He comes inside, a poor kick. He spotted up Christian Height, who's been one of the better players for the Hawks today. He comes inside. Now at the back, there's numbers for the Devils. Johnson was good at the lead. Millwood at the back. 2 tall players going head-to-head. Atkin now, loose ball. Gapin finds some space, goes round the body. Manages just to keep the ball. Well, he doesn't, in fact, and it's out on the full.
Another great effort from Markham Johnson. Good strong leap at the ball, recovery, made a tackle, then got the ball. Just lots of good signs. Beginning to believe in himself.
It may be all over. In fact, it is all over, but the crowd was sticking around for it. The celebration of the Devils as number 6 in a row. The first time ever in the history of the club they've won 6 in a row, and they're pretty happy. And why wouldn't they be? They've witnessed an impressive game of football from the Devils, a tight first half. In fact, they trailed at half-time, and they've just launched out of the box in the second half and kicked 12 goals to 3, and have won comfortably.
Yeah, well, very comfortable with them, but I've got to reiterate, that looked very, very easy in the last quarter. Very, very easy in the last quarter. It was a very tough contest. Would you expect both these sides had their finals hopes on the line? We said before, Box Hill Hawks now, we've got to look forward to just 2 games. They probably need to win those 2 and now hope that other sides lose, whereas Tassie, they probably need to win 1 and have their future in their own hands. So a huge game for both sides, as we talked about before the game. But Tassie Devils in the end just had too much to throw against the Box Hill Hawks. You've got to feel sorry for them. They lost 2 players, McGuinn and Thurgood, and that to some degree both quality players, lost their flexibility. And Box Hill Hawks and the Tassie Devils were really well rotated, well managed, I think, by the coaching staff from above, and they had plenty of fresh legs to play. But you can't talk about this game for too long without talking about Benny Beams. 8 goals, outstanding.
And there are a few highlights today, and he features, you'd have to say, amongst 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, I would think so. Well, I hope so.
8 goals today for Benny Beams. Here's some highlights of what was a fascinating match. Just a great kick there. That was from Callanan.
And that was the sealer, wasn't it? They just needed it so much because they'd had 3 shots on goals there to seal it. 3 shots in the first 3 minutes, and he knows that's a relief. Didn't have a great day out, but still did their bit. Sam Lonigan, great mark, kicked 2 in the last quarter. Terrific from the youngster, and you'd see the breeze had changed around. He read it very, very well. Real talent, young Sam Lonigan. Good in and under player, showed another string to his bow there, jumping high, take the mark.
He and Grimer were good up forward.
Very, very good. 2 youngsters.
He was okay.
Oh, he did all right. Okay, but that, as we talked about it, he just had real confidence. He just knew then that his eye was in.
Yeah.
He just had zeroed in on the goals. How many did he kick in the last quarter? I think he kicked 4, did he, in the last quarter?
Well, that was
3 in the last quarter and 3 in the third quarter, and most of those from the 20-something minute mark. Stats.
Well, you can see on screen the Devils started to really force the ascendancy with the kicks 165 to 150, and handballs, Benno, look at that, doubled the amount of balls.
Yeah.
So, and their handballs in close were sensational. Sexual and Hazelwood and Kenny Hall, I thought they were fantastic in close.
Yeah, the thing that made a difference in the end, I thought the Box Hill Hawks really tackled well and made a lot of those in close ones spill out to their advantage. The longer the game went, though, they were more to their advantage. Inside 50, didn't that turn around, Andrew? Yeah. It was 2-1 against.
They did. One stage. Centre clearances started to even up, and of course the hit-outs, which were really important. Of course, we might just touch on Markham Johnson. Well, he was very, very impressive. We see the full-time scores there, Chris.
Benny Beams was wonderful, just the absolute standout. Just
dominated the scoreboard in the end. 8 goals, the rest were shared around.
Justin Platt was good. Kenny Hall kicked some telling goals. And as Andy Bennett mentioned, Sam Lonigan, well, he was fantastic as well. And for the Hawks, Rudolph kicked 3 goals. 2 of those ran on. Yeah, he was quite good.
Yeah, but he worked hard. It was a good contest. Great game, great result for Tassie.
Thank you for joining us. A great win by Tassie. Next week, you'll see the women's hockey, Prince of Wales versus University. You wouldn't want to miss that terrific contest at the women's hockey. And following that, there'll be VFL football action, Port Melbourne versus the Coburg Tigers. Thank you for watching it. We hope you've enjoyed it. Well done, the Devils.
Super Series Bowls makes a welcome return to Pine Rivers in Brisbane for the 3-game series between Australia and England. This is a big series for the home side. They've picked their strongest possible combination, looking to reverse last year's result, a 3-0 win to England. It's the usual format of pairs, singles and triples, although we're outdoors, of course, here at Pine Rivers, and it's pairs today. Let's see who's playing. And New South Welshman Brett Dupre will lead for Queenslander Kelvin Kirko, returning to international play after a short spell. And for the visitors, former British Isles pairs winner Mark Bantock, and the skip is in his 7th year representing England, Billy Jackson. I'm joined by Ian Shoeback, and Shuey, this rink here at Pine Rivers always gives us great bowls. What's your tip today?
Well, I think you mentioned it, Steve. The home side, they've picked their strongest combination ever. In past years, Australian selectors have blooded new players at Pine Rivers. Not so today.
Yes, the return of Kelvin Kirko should strengthen the Australian lineup.
Most definitely. Number 5 ranked player in the world, Kirko, and his partner, Brett Dupre, is a gold medalist in pairs for Australia at the Commonwealth Games.
Joining Ian in commentary for the start of the match, Quentin Hull.
Thank you, Steve. A glorious sunny day for the opening rubber of this test match between...
No, I'd certainly measure that. And you're measuring as well, mate.
Mark Bantock leading away for England. The 30-year-old from the St John's Park Club in Sydney, Brett Dupre. An established reputation as a lead for Australia